Toralba. Drunk on your love. Mahubog ko sa imuhang gugma. Sus, makahubog din ang gugma di ay. Sama di ay. Ang atong takna karon 42 minutos ng milabay sa alas 9. Karong taud-taud we have our friends from the Paralympics 2025 which is happening this Feb 2022. We have JP and Lucas. Karong taud-taud. Okay, JP of course is a local. Say hi, JP. Hold on, give me a second, yeah? Okay, come on. I don't think that thing works. Can you use this other microphone? Or maybe this. How about this? Try this instead. Give me a second. JP is here. Okay, my buntag ni JP is also a part of PADS, right? And he is the man behind Dubby's Burger, right?
Yes, sir.
May buntag ni JP.
May buntag, sir.
Introduce ko na kasi mo ang kaning kuyog karon. Kinsa man ni siya?
So with me today is Lucas Snack.
Lucas.
Yes, from Germany.
All the way from Germany.
Aba matindi!
What are you doing here in these beautiful islands of the Philippines, Lucas? What's happening?
Yeah, hello, my buntag.
Maing buntag ni mo diha, sir. Kumusta naman ka? Okay ra ka?
Okay.
Okay ra?
Maayos, salamat.
Maayo. So I understand that you have been living in Cebu for roughly 6 months. Am I correct?
Yes.
More or less. And you were in Argao for a while, for about 2 months.
Yes.
And now you're here in Cebu, right? How long has it been since you got here from Argao?
Like this is since November.
Since November. So
Yeah.
it's been a couple of months, right?
Yes. Like it's confusing because you call the island Cebu, but you call Cebu too. Like,
Yeah, I know, right? I'm confused too. I don't know where Cebu ends and begins sometimes.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world, even if I'm abroad, I still feel like I'm in Cebu. You bring a piece of home with you, right?
Yes.
So you're now here in Cebu. So maybe we can talk about that as well. Stay tuned. That's coming up in a few moments. JP and Lucas live on 105.1 TMC's Top of the Morning. Maing bungkag!
Your Cebu mornings just got more real. Real local talk.
You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host.
Do you hear yourself? No.
I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah. But this is working.
Yeah, it's working.
Hello. No. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a little bit louder. Yeah, it's okay. Oh, yeah, perfect.
Hello.
Cabrera Street, Basak, San Nicolas, Cebu City is now accepting enrollees for bachelor of science in nursing.
So maybe we'll
Guaranteed the lowest tuition fees ever in town. Enroll now to avail yourself of the free promo rate for the first 100 nursing students.
Where can I
Enrollees.
find
Do
the
you want to
Google
study
Drive?
nursing and not enrolled or looking for low enrollment fees for nursing courses? Or a nurse or nursing graduate wants to
What's that?
or apply for nursing scholarships. For more
recent,
information, please contact 0956
not yet.
926 4112 or 0968 861 9933.
Ano niya i-send? Sir Jig.
Music.
kato kuan sa Messenger ba?
Messenger?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
But I cannot message you.
Why not?
I don't know. Maybe we have to. I don't know. Sometimes how Facebook works.
That's weird. Where can't you message me? What is that?
Or maybe it's a pets channel. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you go back to your profile.
Maybe I have to.
Is it on YouTube?
Yes.
Spotify.
It's-
I just
it's
play it from
every-
here. I just play it from here.
Okay.
So what is it called? Can you
Offload. OFF.
suwat mo ba?
Uh,
Nakay. Oh. Ano?
Right here.
Should I write a specific song?
Yeah, whatever, man.
Okay.
Whatever you like. You can do whatever you want, man. Tell me, Basa, you have a thing, Basa? You need to go. What time do you need to go?
For this morning, sir, pray lang.
Ay, ikaw nga. Ito messaging ka, wala ka. No?
Since sila make bro, real.
It's the best free songs are. I released just 5 already.
Off Loud?
Off Loud, yeah.
Wow. What? It's a band?
Just me. I'm producer, I'm singer, I'm writer, I'm texter.
What is it off? What does that mean?
Off Loud, it's not really translated. There's a German word called uploud,
Ah.
and it's in the list of words that are used in Germany and in English.
Okay.
And I wanted to like have it some, and then I translated it. It's like off loud now.
Off Loud. It's kind of an oxymoron, right? An oxymoron, like two words that
Oh yeah.
don't necessarily mean one thing.
No, it doesn't mean really anything. But it's just.
So what does it mean in German?
Upload is it's like a grammatical thing.
Also, it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean really anything. No.
Okay, that's good. That means you own it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Because that's really the trick. If you want to own something, like if you want to patent it or register it, intellectual property, you make a name that doesn't mean anything or does not exist, like a blue elephant, for example, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody can pronounce. But
Yeah. Sometimes what they do, because you can't own a word that's common, right? You can't own the word, let's say, red. But if you misspell it REDD, then you own that because nobody owns that. Were you always musically inclined, or was this something that it's just like a
Yeah, I'm composing since 7 years.
oh really?
And then I released my first tracks without singing like 5 years ago.
Oh.
And now I have the Offload project and I'm singing now. I did some singing lessons. And
Wow.
I want to.
So have you been watching events, concerts here?
Yes, on Sinuluk.
Oh.
And I was in Manila for a Stray Kids concert.
What's that?
Stray Kids concert in the
Stray-
Philippine Arena.
Stray Kids?
Stray Kids, it's K-pop.
K-pop, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, I'm not very K-pop. Malaya Makaray Baga Kag Face!
Atong takna karon 50 minutos nang nilabay sa alas 9. You know what? There's a thing called Paralympics 2025 karong February pohon February 22. And two people who are here who are a great part of the Paralympics 2025, Lucas and JP are actually here in the studios of 105.1 TMC. Once again, good morning, guys. Good morning, maayong buntag ninyong duha.
Yeah, good morning, Sir Jiggy, and thank you so much for having us this morning.
It is my pleasure to talk to you guys. First and foremost, I think it's important to set the stage, right? Kaning mga PWD ba? Unsa man gyud definition ng PWD? Unsa man na?
So there are a lot of terms being used right now, and to be politically correct,
Okay.
if we'll just use the term coming from the United Nations, they're using the first person first definition. So
Okay.
they should be referred to as person with disability.
Mhm.
So we hear a lot of things to label a person with disability. We hear a lot of things like differently abled, special, person with determination, all those stuff. But internationally, it should only be called they should only be called person with disability.
Okay. So how do you define a disability? What is a disability?
So there are 4 types of disability.
Okay,
Common.
okay.
So physical. So meaning to say, what you don't have to ask them. You can see it already that they have a disability
Okay.
in terms of mobility or your physical features. Like somebody lacks an arm or a leg, or they have difficulty moving around. So that's physical disability. The second type is intellectual disability or developmental disability. Meaning to say there are mechanisms in the brain that are not really developed compared to the rest of us. No, so we have people with Down syndrome, people with autism, and all those stuff. No, And then the third one is the visually impaired or visual impairment or blindness. So people with difficulty seeing. No? So, but these are two different things. No? Visual impairment means to say they need eyeglasses. So if you're a person very dependent on eyeglasses, so you're called visually impaired. But if you,
Like for example, I am.
yes,
So I'm visually impaired because
Yes, so if
I'm
you-
using my glasses,
yes,
right?
so if you cannot see without eyeglasses, so you're a person with visual impairment.
Mm.
And if you're total blind, so mean to say you have zero visibility. It's
Mhm.
either black or white.
Mm-hmm.
And then
The fourth.
the fourth one are people with deafness or hearing impairment.
What?
Deafness or hearing impairment.
What?
Deafness.
So I also qualify for that, right?
Yan ang di bumulan kasi masawa, sir. So it's kind of it's acquired once you get married. So it's acquired
Yeah,
disability.
acquired disability. Your inability to hear your partner. So nasa kay disability card na. So I'm curious by so it must be a because when you mentioned all four, I feel like I am all four. You know, I'm not that smart. I have physical disabilities, disadvantage because I'm not that tall, and you know I'm wearing glasses and all of that stuff. So it sounds like me. So it must be a spectrum, right? So
Yes, yes.
a kind of a spectrum. So you automatically you don't become or be defined as a person with disability, right? So how do you ascertain? How do you know when you can be part of that description?
So if you cannot do things on a daily basis already,
Okay.
like for example, just by reading your books, no?
Okay.
If you cannot really understand it already, or you have difficulty reading the text, or if a condition hampers you to do regular things, so mapart na ka sa disability.
Mm.
No? So over the years, nagkadaghan na ang disability.
Mm.
So we have already psychosocial, so I mean to say persons with bipolar, persons with depression,
Mm.
or persons with chronic illness, no, like breast cancer, or cancer survivors can also avail. Like or if you have severe diabetes, you know, any condition that would hamper you to do things that you usually do.
But there's always something. I mean, like I'm making a general statement here, but
Yep.
there's always something that hampers you from wanting to do everything, right? There's always one thing, right? So my question, I guess, for example, I'll give you an example. If I'm vertically challenged, like I am, right? I can't reach, let's say, a fruit, right? I have to use stairs, for example, or a ladder, right? So that is a disadvantage, right? So I guess there's always something that we are disadvantaged
Yep.
compared to the rest because we're all different, right?
Yes.
Differently constituted. So ang akong pangutana siguro ani when does the disadvantage allow you to be defined as PWD when in fact everyone is disadvantaged to do one particular activity? What activity can't you do or are you disadvantaged with that allows you to become part of this group? Because I think being a PWD has its benefits, right? You have society has allowed you
Yes.
to have a kind of not really advantage, but a kind of leg up, if you will, right?
Yep.
So that you can function even better and you can become even more productive.
Yes.
Right? So, unsa man bay like kato akong gihisgot nimo nga di ko kaabot sa kaning bayabas kay mubo ko. So kinanglan ko sagdanan, di ba? Does that make me disabled? Like unsa man gid like what is the line in the sand, in other words? I think is the more important question.
It all boils down to long-term, permanent, or temporary medical condition
Mm.
that hampers you to participate in any form of activity in the society. So,
Mm.
like say for example, as I've mentioned, the four major disabilities, types of disabilities. So if you're a person who has hearing loss, and you cannot anymore like listen to the radio, no? So I think that qualifies you to become a person with disability. The government has been very quite strict right now, no? Because of some issues that have occurred, no, over this past few lately lang, no, wherein people have been like applying, like there's an increased number of people that are applying for disability.
Yeah.
Even to the point that if you I've heard that impotence din apply na impotence
Nako inailhan nga dili kay siya gwapo ba ni apply sa disability. Kay disadvantage man siya kay bati man siya naong ba, di ba? Ya ini panguyab ko niya kanang ibasted sa permi ba. So pwede ko ma-apply og disability. Kay batig naong ko siya. Pwede nang inana dili sayop na
So, dili gid siya.
Dili siya.
So anything that's the medical doctor, no,
Okay.
would
So it has to be diagnosed also.
diagnose good siya.
So kung diagnose yung batig naong siya. Ha? Pwede siya ma-disable. So I'm just joking around, of course. So tell me, JP. So if you're considered a person with a disability, what does Philippine society give you? What leg up? What assistance does Philippine society give that person with a disability? Go ahead.
So in terms of laws, there are already laws in place.
Okay.
Like the RA 7277
Okay,
or
okay.
the Magna Carta for persons with disabilities.
Okay.
So it talks about a lot of things that helps or elevates conditions of persons with disability. But,
Okay.
the question there is since we have already been autonomous, like the local government units have been autonomous in implementing those laws.
Okay.
So it really depends on the capacity of each local government units. Like say for example for Cebu City, they've been providing a lot of financial assistance. I think they're the biggest one who allocates financial assistance to people with disabilities
Okay.
that are residents of Cebu City. So I think they give like 12,000 a year compared to other LGUs who only give like 5,000, 6,000 a year. So it really depends. But in terms of like say
When you say 10,000 a year, like a cash
cash
financial assistance,
yes.
10,000 annually. Okay.
Yes.
That's not much in the scheme of things, but at least
Yes.
na ay mura og token amount, right?
Yep.
Okay. And how about because I noticed nga naamoy yun na sa atong balaod siguro in building structures, right? In
Yes.
building commercial spaces and all of that stuff, or even public spaces nga naa sila PWD friendly sila,
Yes.
right? So explain to us how that works, how that law works. Go ahead.
So we have the accessibility law.
Okay, okay.
It's the BP 344 or the Pambansang Batas or the Philippine Accessibility Law.
Okay.
Wherein it requires all buildings, government and private buildings to provide accessibility, no, to people with disability. That
Okay.
includes also transportation, buses, jeepneys, and even aircrafts. No? But one thing that's challenging about this law is that it's a 30-year-old or more than 30-year-old law. So there are certain things in that law that needs to be amended. Like for example, the measurement of the measurement or the angles of the ramps, the design of the toilets. So they needed to apply now the what we call barrier-free environments, wherein mas bigger na ang sizes sa mga doors.
Ngano man siya? Nganong kinahanglan ni amend?
To provide so with current research, the kaning mga gibutang sa law, ang mga measurements nila medyo obsolete na, so medyo gamay, no, or when they found out that ang mga ramps na gibutang, ang measurements sa ramps na gibutang dito sa law medyo taas kayo, peak yung taas ang iyang elevation.
No?
So with the application now of
Inclination.
yeah. So it can ang atong mong gi-promote is independent living. So mean kasi if you're a person with disability, if we promote independent living, meaning to say dili naka minimal na ang assistance na imong kinahanglan ba, so you can actually move around without any assistance or caretaker with you na mo push nimo sa wheelchair or anything. If you're a blind person, you can just navigate yourself so around the city without any assistance. So mo na siya independent living. So with our current accessibility law, medyo a step back siya. So it needed it needed more yung revision para ma-apply na ang mga karon. So apply na ang kining mga gitawag nato na barrier-free environment or sa accessibility, no, mga features that are applicable to our time.
Okay, so the next logical question would be, why is it important for Philippine society or any society for that matter to provide this leg up, this assistance to persons with disability? Go ahead.
Yeah, so any form of government or society, we have different types of models mga in terms of reaching out or working with persons with disability. The most common type is the charity model or the medical model, wherein if we engage in persons with disabilities, atong perceptions nila, if you have disability, you need it to be fixed, no? Or the discretion is only to the giver, like a charity model. So if you give wheelchairs or crutches, after that, wala nami responsibility nimo. That's it. So more feeling lang it solves everything. So ang naka-focus lang siya sa giver, no? Or the medical model, meaning for deaf people, we'll just give you hearing aid, and without even really thinking about some type of, does he benefit from really using hearing aid, or somebody unilateral ba or bilateral ang iyang deafness. So yan na ba? And then the second type, charity model. So mga to, no, they are synonymous to each other, medical or charity. And the third and fourth one is what we call social model, wherein we see disability as a difference. We see as disability as part of human diversity. So in terms of human diversity, race, age, social status, and we see disability as something na part of humanity. No, we don't really see it something na if you have disability, you're less of a person. It's just who you are, the uniqueness of the person, and we have to create laws that promotes or provides equity and equality to a person with disability. And synonymous to that model is what we call rights-based model. So it's more on working with laws or policies na makaingon ka mo lift up or uplift sa conditions sa mga persons with disability, that they can function and be productive members in our society without even thinking about disability.
Yeah, so you probably partially answered my question, but I'm going to repeat the question again. So because I feel like I need more expounding. Why does society how does society benefit from providing assistance to disability? Why is it important for society to help the less abled? Why is it important? I know you already partially touched on an answer, but maybe on a more philosophical or macro level. Why is it important for society to help the differently abled?
So because we are, as a society, we have to. Society can work together if we are able to provide and support each other, regardless of unsay disability. That's why we are applying the philosophy of equality and equity to everyone. So
what we want to create opportunities equally as much as possible to everyone, right?
To everyone,
Okay.
regardless if you have disability or not. Everybody needs some sort of support from society.
Yeah.
No, para they can be, at the end of the day, we wanted to contribute to the development of our society.
Murag ang word ani nga would probably appropriate is murag gamay nga nudge. Diba?
Yes.
Nudge lang ba? Murag lag agakon o gamay ba, di ba?
Yes.
Murag lag tabangan na to gamay. Itugpo na to kung tabanog pa, di ba?
That's true. That's
Di ba?
true.
Itugpo na to para maklupad siya, di ba?
Yeah, that's true. One key example for that is that our Dragon Boat team, no, our Dragon Boat team in pads composing mostly.
hold on.
Yeah.
Explain to everybody what Dragon Boat is
Okay.
first. We can't assume that everybody knows what a Dragon Boat is. Go ahead, tell everybody.
So it's
Unsa
a-
man ang Dragon Boat,
So,
JP?
It started 2,000 years ago in China.
2,000 years ago, in 2,000 years ago in China, there was a dragon who mated with a boat, right? Thus, the Dragon Boat was born. Go ahead, tell
Yes.
everybody about 2,000 years ago.
So Chu Yuan, a Chinese philosopher and
Okay.
public servant, was very popular with his people, no? And then he was accused of doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So sa iyahang kaguol ba? So he ended his life, no, and jumped over the cliff. When the fisher folks heard about what happened, they raced towards to the site where he jumped. And that prompted the Dragon Boat race, no? And we're quite there are similarities to our culture in the Philippines, particularly in the Visayan regions, wherein we're known for our karakowas, no?
Unsa man ang Karakoa ba?
So during si Pigafetta, when he arrived in the Philippines,
Katong chronicler.
Yeah, chronicler, no?
Kani si Pigafetta mo to siya Facebook live sa ni Magellan, di ba?
Yes, yes.
So kung napay Facebook live ano hayahay ta kay tasanan, di ba? Pero wa man tay Facebook live. So kani si Pigafetta unsay nangitabo sa barko, unsay nga sa barko ni gon, unsay nga sa ship ni Magellan kay to? MB Roro. Kaning gisuwat niya ang mga pangitabo, di ba? Sa mo nang historian, chronicler
Yes,
ni
chronicler
Magellan. Go ahead, continue.
So he noted na ay mga warships na, that are powered with paddlers ba?
Okay.
And he noted na kusog paspas kay kusog kay ang sailing niya ba? Not only sailing but human powered siya with paddlers. And there are a lot of accounts already na these warships being used by the Visayan paddlers.
Visayan paddlers.
Yes, Visayan paddlers. So so they go around different islands, even reaching southern China to not conquer but sigtan mo gusto mo pirate sila, but it's not really pirate. They're just there to just get more resources, more people to enslave them and everything. So over the years, when the Spanish conquered the Philippines, so giwala na nilang mga warships, no, and focus na sila sa system of government. But it's already built within every Visayan.
So before the Spaniards came, nanatay mga Dragon Boat paddlers
So
sa Pilipinas.
Not technically Dragon Boat paddlers, but already paddlers gyud sila.
Mamumugsay. So
Mamugsayo na gyud
kaning I saw magud in the Philippine Museum dito sa aduana sa Port San Pedro ba nga, each island of the Philippines has a different way of crafting or making a bangka.
Yes.
Na similarities but nasa mga small differences, but so ang atoang bangka as we know it now here in the Philippines, has that anything to do, or is it related to the paddlers you mentioned nga gikan sa China and all of that stuff?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's closely related.
Okay.
No, it's very close. It's closely related. In the Austronesian culture, panagit kita we're very known for our paddling culture. No? While we are known for our karakoas, the New Zealanders, the Pacific Islanders are known for their ocean canoe. No? And then for the Chinese, they're known for their dragon boats. And then in the modern times, na-adapt na nato dire sa Philippines.
So gitudluan siguro taghimo anang mga bangka sa.
I think we are, no? As a matter of fact, atong gitawag nato na balangay. It was discovered in Butuan, no?
Sa man ng balangay ba? Was okay ba?
So,
Okay ba? Balanghoy rin hibawan ako. So nang balangay.
It's a sail, no? Sailboat na siya na handmade good na siya. So
Wow.
by the Bukidnon Kingdom ba.
Oh.
I think they were able to reconstruct it, restore. They discovered the remnants of the balangay, and then ilahang gi restore, and they were able to trace the voyage of the balangay, even reaching to neighboring countries. So
So suffice it to say, this dragon boat is an ancient way of traveling by sea, right? That we have adopted here in the Philippines, and we kind of got it from the Chinese, right?
yeah,
Is that a correct summary
not
of
really
it?
navigation, but it's before paano gyud siya? It's actually a sport already.
Mm.
When in the Chinese culture, they celebrate prosperity, all the festivities by starting it with in the lunar usually lunar festival. They start it with a dragon boat festival.
Oh, okay. Because I think dragons and the Chinese, there's something about the Chinese and the dragons, right?
Yes.
I'm not sure unsa na dito basig na gyud dragon sa China to una sa. Maybe sa. So anyway, suffice it to say that is what dragon boat is. So what does that have anything to do with persons with disability?
Yes.
How did persons with disability get into dragon boat paddling?
Yeah, so in 2016,
Okay.
just right after my training in the US, I was looking for
Training in what?
so I was part of the Global Sports Mentoring Program.
Okay, okay.
So it's a program by the US State Department
Okay.
wherein they select 16 emerging leaders from all over the
Mm.
world, and I was lucky to be.
You were an emerging leader. JP Mon is an emerging leader back in 2016. Go ahead.
So right after my short stay in the US,
Okay.
I came up with an action plan to implement here in Cebu to increase participation of people with disabilities through adaptive sports.
Mhm.
And I was really struggling at first because wala mo gyud tay sporting program sa Cebu.
For PWDs.
For persons with disabilities.
Okay, okay.
I only found a group of guys playing basketball
Mm.
and using hospital type wheelchairs.
Okay. So,
So-
lisod kay ba?
Lisod
Kaya ba
kay.
kanang basketball nga persons with disability mura man na gamito nila lahi man nga klase nga wheelchair, di ba?
Sportmatic wheelchairs.
So wala gyud tay program in other words. We were just improvising with that. So that was the only program that you found out when you
Yes.
arrived from the States, right?
Yes, and there was another one, what they call goal ball. It's a sport for blind
Oy,
people.
okay.
So
Sport goal ball.
yeah, goal ball.
Unsa man na siya ba?
So it's like mura siya goalkeeper versus goalkeeper ba? Kung if you're familiar with football
Unsa
or
pakiball,
soccer.
unsa pakiball na kung na shoot kung ngayon musulti?
So naay ang ilang bula, naay bell sa sulod.
Ah.
And then there
So kung maigo, mutingog.
yeah, mutingog. So
Oh, okay.
the goal of the game is to make sure that to protect the other opponent from scoring.
Okay, okay.
So they have to listen. So it should be yung dead silent yun
ang venue.
ang venue.
Okay.
Like in the Paralympics.
Yan mo pakpak ra ba gyud kung kuan kung
Mopakpak ka.
mo goal, di ba?
So
So sa man pagkadungog anaron.
so
Mo pakpak
if
yun.
the audience
Congrats.
pakpak saba cheer ba.
Oh.
The referee, the umpire
Mo
would
badlong.
identify kinsa gichira
Hala.
na gwan.
Hala.
And then they would deduct the score or disqualify the team.
So kinang lang hilom gid.
Inani ka hilom.
Sige. Okay. So more tayo na ibaw ano basketball and goal ball,
Yeah,
right?
so,
So why did you decide to pick up dragon boat? Medyo complicated, medyo lisod ba na sa nga sport po, di ba?
Didri mo sulod ang power of social media ba?
Okay,
so
okay.
when I saw attorney Heidi Acuña.
Oh,
Post-
si
yeah.
Kwan, taga ABS-CBN niya una, di ba?
so,
Si akong idol
she was
si Heidi,
promoting-
judge naman si Heidi ra.
Judge.
So si Judge Heidi. Imingaw ko nimo Judge Heidi. Kamusta? Asa gito napita? Asa gitong area iyang huwis siya?
I think Toledo or
Toledo. Somewhere far, right?
Somewhere far,
Okay.
yeah.
So
When I saw her post-
di na siya makadagon boat rong mga panahon na atog yapon
Sige
siya.
pa. No, I think she was part of the Philippine team who competed in the World Championships in Palawan.
Oh.
And then they won a gold medal there.
Okay.
Just a few months ago.
Okay.
So-
Wow, congratulations Heidi. Wow.
Yes.
Judge pa, Badler pa, di ba?
Yes. So,
Okay.
Bakit ko niya, sir? Uy, na murag eureka moment to ba? So, paddling, seated sport. Yeah, we're very close to the body of waters, Mactan Channel.
Yeah, we're all about water, right?
Yes.
The
so,
Philippines.
Why not try paddling? So,
So wala pa it wasn't like you were you already saw a paddling program in your travels, right?
Yes.
This was like an original idea of yours. Go ahead, continue,
Yes.
please.
So when I found out, we discovered seated sport man in Dragon Boat.
Seated sport, meaning to say maglingkod ka, kumuduwa ka.
Maglingkod ra gid.
Okay.
So it is very yung bagay ra gid sa mga PWDs.
Mm.
And in one boat, 20 people can play,
Mm.
you know, and then we don't have to really buy expensive equipment.
Mm.
So at that time, we asked our team kung pwede may maka sit in or
Mm.
baro lang sa paddle ba. It started as a recreational therapy
Mm.
for persons with disability.
Mm.
And later on, it developed into something na murag na routine na nila every Sunday.
Mm.
From one paddler, we were able to form a team of 10 guys.
Mm.
And then one tournament, we got invited to participate as a guest team.
Mm.
And from that on, we discovered no, pwede pwede ta makakompete actually. And we can be more visible to the community watching us. Because from a distance, you cannot determine who's disabled and who's not. If they're just paddlers.
Mm.
And I think that's the message of inclusion, wherein you don't have to see first the disability, but you have to see the person first. So, nindot ang messaging sa sport. And then, all the things I've learned in the US, I apply it to the sporting program, like working on their biokinetics, sports science, strength and conditioning, and all those stuff. And we have a lot of resources here in Cebu who are experts no, in those fields who are willing to really share their time. So we tap on these experts and develop the team. And to the point that our paddlers with zero background in sports, they develop into competitive teams to the point that they are winning against able teams. So I think that's the key message of how society should work. diba? Or how
So you because of your eureka moment that persons with disability can actually compete at a high level in Dragon Boat, you founded PADS, right? Am I correct? Tell me about what is this PADS that you founded? But before that, let me introduce to you a person with a disability. I think her disability is she is too beautiful, I think, and she can't function properly, right?
Hi, top of the morning, sir. Hello, nice to meet you both.
This is a future attorney, Justine Narvios. So this is JP and Lucas, all the way from Germany. So tell us about what PADS is and why did you decide to found PADS? Go ahead.
Okay, so PAD stands for Philippine Accessible Disability Services. So we're a non-profit based here in Cebu. We started in 2005 as a volunteering program and working first with deaf people, no, or the deaf community. So one of our key programs was to install sign language interpreters in the local news, like the local television news. And then from there on, we shifted towards working with people with disabilities. With the goal of achieving that vision of an inclusive disability inclusive Filipino society. And in 2016, we shifted our gears towards promoting participation and community-based rehabilitation through adaptive sports. So now our main focus or the main focus of PADS is to strengthen community-based rehabilitation, meaning to allow persons with disability to access rehab services. And from accessing rehab services, we channel them towards our sporting programs through adaptive sports. And from there, they can be incubated, they can develop a lot of character, values, and all those skills so that they can be reintegrated again in our society as productive members in our community. So in 2016, we launched the adaptive Dragon Boat racing program, and from then on, that team was able to participate in the local and national races to the point that they were able to represent the Philippines in the international races. And fast forward today, we've won our 3 world championships and being recognized as the fastest para-dragon team in the world.
Cebu.
The fastest para-dragon team
Yes.
in the world.
I am proud to say
Oh my God!
that,
Woohoo!
yeah,
Unbelievable.
we hold the world record in the 500 and 200 meters race distance as the fastest para-dragon team in the world. So for this year, we are aiming to defend our fourth World Championship in Germany with the goal to set the Guinness Book of World Records.
Let's go. Let's go.
You know what? That is such an earth-shattering accomplishment, right? For not just for you, but of course for the team, right?
Yes.
And you have raked in a lot of medals, a lot of gold medals, in fact, in many international competitions, right? Which is unbelievable. And now you're going to try to accomplish that huge a record that will hopefully become part of the Guinness Book of World Records as the fastest Paralympic team, right?
Yep.
And the Paralympic Games
Yes.
is happening very soon this Feb 22. Pila na lang kaadlaw, Justin? 5 na lang kaadlaw, right?
Adlaw.
So sulti ko na mi ani ni Justin kuno og sa top of the morning. Unsa man ni siyang Paralympic Games this Feb 22? Go ahead, tell everybody.
So the Paralympic Games first is organized by 2kcares.org. So in partnership with PADS. So the goal of this event is to promote Paralympic sports in Cebu. So this is a
Okay.
first in our city or in our island, wherein we will be organizing wheelchair basketball, sitting volleyball, goalball for blind athletes, boccia for intellectual disabilities, and athletics and swimming, no, for deaf and persons with intellectual disability. So this is happening on February 22 at the Ateneo in partnership with Ateneo de Cebu. Now they are our official venue
Wow.
for our event, and there will be around maybe 200 to 300
Wow.
people that will be participating. 20 teams, I think more than 20 teams have signed up already, coming from all over Cebu, no, as far as Daan Bantayan, and we have a team from Bukidnon, no, Maramag Bukidnon, that are also competing for the wheelchair basketball games.
Exciting.
I know, right?
Can outsiders come and watch?
Yes,
Ah.
it's an open event. We are really encouraging people to watch and learn the sport and bring their family, especially kids, no, to learn about disability sports, no, and being able to see people with disabilities compete, not as a disabled person, but as an
Yeah.
athlete, no. This is something. It's a different picture on how we portray PWDs, no, as competitive athletes already. So if you want to take part of this event, no, come visit us. It's an whole day event, no. The festivities will start around 6 a.m. and then I think we'll end maybe around late in the afternoon. It depends sa transition sa flow to ang competition, because for sitting volleyball alone, there are already 8 teams that are competing.
You know what? I was just processing everything ba niya. Nakarealize ko ba nga, if you don't have a family member that has a disability, dili kay ka makasabot bitaw, but once you see, once you just try to peek into their world, makasabot yung nga lisod yun ni ang natay anak,
Yes.
or kung kita mismo
Yeah.
natay disability, binuang taganiha sa, pero kaning it was just all in jest, right? But what I'm saying is lisod yun ni siya ang pamilya nga naay kaning naay mental disability ang anak,
Yeah.
or na physical disability. Lisod, that's very challenging, right? And a lot of that is not only physical but also mental.
Yeah.
We all know there's a lot of great big examples of very successful people with disabilities, right? For example, ato mga examples, si Stevie Wonder, di ba?
Yep.
Stevie Wonder, si Ray Charles sa music world, di ba?
Yes.
Si
Hawking.
Stephen Hawking, right?
Yes.
And daghan kayo mga shining examples ba. So kanisha, I think what physical activity does is this is one way to kind of inspire people, right? Inspire the disabled, right? Mura siya, it's plus it helps that it's also physical. So exercise pagid sila, di ba?
Yes.
Kay kadaghanan sa mga tao galing basig fully able sila, dili man mo exercise, di
That's
ba?
true.
Di ba?
It's a global statistic that around 70% of persons with disabilities develop secondary illness
Yeah.
because of sedentary lifestyle.
absolutely.
Yeah, or people develop disability or acquire disability because of unhealthy habits. No? So we want we want this event to promote wellness. We want to open up doors to families or individuals who have disability or know somebody who has disability. The world is so big out there. No, there are opportunities out there. I think one challenging part of having a disability or having a member who or a family member who has disability is that you just don't know where to tap, no, or the support
Who to go to,
systems about or who to go to, no. And I think event, this event, I think offers those support systems, no. Not only that we are organizing games, but we're also inviting service providers. Like we've partnered with the Asian Orthopedic Center, so they can provide functional assessment, rehab services through the support of Dr. Pierre Melia, no? And then we have invited also students or the academe who are offering rehab sciences courses to talk about a lot of things that's related to physical therapy, that's related to occupational therapy, and all those stuff that require support if you are having a disability. And Ateneo de Cebu itself, it's very inclusive, no. As a matter of fact, last Saturday when we were training wheelchair basketball, one of the coaches, Coach Gigi, approached us and he said that, sir, I wanted to engage my players, no, elementary kids, no, to wheelchair basketball, and I was at first taken aback, but how? I wanted them to learn and develop the values of inclusion. We're in at a young age, ma-understand na nila na how to work with or understand persons with disabilities, and starting by maintaining, no, the wheelchairs now, no, that we're having now that was stored in Ateneo. Meaning they will be the ones repairing it, fixing it, so
Cleaning
that more persons with can participate and enjoy sports. No?
Wow.
So,
That's beautiful.
In case you're wondering what you're listening to, mga kaigalan, you're listening to JP and Lucas. They're actually both from the Paralympics 2025, which is happening very soon, this Feb 22. And you're listening to, of course, Jiggy Juice and
Justine Arvios, top of the morning, guys. Thank you for joining us.
kaning si Lucas ba? Maing buntag mo dia Lucas. Lucas. Musta kani si Lucas Justin taga Germany ni siya. Onya nagpuyo na siya sa Pilipinas kuno. Dugay-dugay na hapit na sa katuig siguro. And then kibaw na siya gamay binisaya, di ba? Kibaw na gamay lang, di ba? So he's actually he just graduated from high school in Germany. He's having what they call an off year. Kay common man kuno ng off year kuno sa Germany kuno ba. So he's actually here as part of the volunteer group sa PADS ni siya.
Yes.
Kaning JP.
yes, sir. Lucas Organization, GIED.
GIED. Ano sa manong GIED?
Global
Germany?
Initiative for Exchange and Development.
Okay. So nganong i-choose man ka og sorry. Ato in English kay basi di siya kasabot basi dili ni kasabot si Lucas. Kaning why did you choose to because he was given a list down of all the things that he can volunteer and be a part of, and he decided to come down here to these beautiful islands of the Philippines. It must be the beaches, right? Why did you choose to come down here to volunteer here in Cebu? Ngano man Lucas, why?
Yeah, as I said, there was a big list of every country I could go to, so I just had to filter a little bit. Like I wanted Asia, I don't know, somehow I wanted to go here always. And then I was like, maybe if English is there, that's good too. So it's really not that much countries anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, beaches were one one reason. But my brother was here once visiting, and he showed me some pictures, and I was like, maybe it's the Philippines. And then I got the application, I got the program, and I really don't regret anything to come here. It's very nice, and staying with pets is really nice because it's such a grateful working environment, and it's really nice to work with them, and I couldn't be more happy right now.
Of course, obviously, you're just one of the many volunteers, right? So you have like a volunteer program at PADS, right? JP, tell us about how does it work? If I'm listening to this broadcast right now from any part of the world, or even here,
Yeah.
diri lang sa syudad sa Sugbo, or maybe sa isla sa Cebu, right? Or sa Pilipinas. Can I volunteer? Is it as easy as that, or there has to be like a process?
So they just have to sign up, message us, and then two things. No, they can on-site and off-site. So they can
Okay.
volunteer as a online volunteer or on-site. Mean to say if we have events,
yeah.
no,
Like
they
the one-
can adto sila dito as organizer and all those stuff. No, so it's open for professionals, non-professional students.
Okay.
No, so everyone can be part of PADS. No, for example, if you're into sports, you could be a coach. If you're into fitness, you could also be a strength and conditioning coach. No, it can also be just an assistor, or even if you just want to stay at home and you're into social media, you could
can
be
help out with
our graphic designer,
Oh,
or
okay.
you could be our social media manager. That's what Lucas and Hannah is doing right now. So if you see our posts in Facebook, yeah,
He's the one who makes it.
it's all Lucas.
Yes, it's me.
And,
Okay.
and there's one thing that you don't know about Lucas, Justine.
Yes.
He's actually also a musician. He's actually an artist also.
Really?
So dili hilom-hilom lang ni siya, pero songwar sa ni
He
siya.
also sings. Oh, that's nice.
So tell me about that part of you, Lucas. You're a songer, a singer. That's a joke.
call it here.
So tell me about that. Like, how did you get into this whole singing business? Go ahead.
Yes, the singing part just was last year. So I started playing accordion with the age of 7, I think, for 8 years. And then I was like, my family recognized that I'm making my own music and that I'm enjoy not playing other instruments, and that I enjoy to do my own music. And then they gift me a program where I can compose music.
Okay. Like
And-
an app or like a device, maybe?
A software, like
Oh, okay.
in the music language, it's called the AW,
Okay.
Digital Audio Workstation.
Okay.
And then I just composed and released 5 years ago with my first project called Handwerker.
Okay.
It's a German word for craftsman.
Okay.
And
How do you say that? Sorry?
Handwerker.
Okay. I won't repeat it. I feel like, how do you say that again? Okay, I won't repeat it. But okay, so that's your first song, rather.
Yes, it's without singing, just electronic music, and then
Just
I
an
wa-
instrumental. Okay.
Yes, but I always was like, I want to sing, but I was really bad. So I took some singing lessons,
Lessons, okay.
last year, and now my new project Off Loud, OFFLOUD.
Off loud. Okay.
Yes,
That one I
is-
can pronounce.
Yeah,
Okay. Off
that's
Loud.
more easy. Is starting 6 months ago.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm really proud of the songs I already released. 5 songs already out there.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
I'm giving a concert soon, my first official concert in
Okay,
the
guys.
Philippines.
Okay, so this is going to be your Philippine debut. You
Yeah.
finally have like a 5-track album. Is that an album, rather? Or maybe just like a project?
Just like the album is coming in a year, maybe.
Okay, but you have 5 songs out,
Yes.
this time with your vocals on it.
Yes.
And then you'll be having a live concert here in the Philippines. Can you tell us something about that? Like
Yes,
this upcoming project?
Okay, the venue is not sure yet, but if you
Mm.
want to know more, just can I like?
Okay, where can
just-
they find out more about your music or where your live shows, especially for your Philippine debut? Where can they
yes.
find details on that?
Yeah, just follow me everywhere, like Facebook, Instagram. It's OFFLOUD.
Oh, is that
And
your
then-
artist name?
Yes, that's the artist name.
Okay,
And
so your
then
artist
an
name is
underline.
Off Loud. That's OFFLOUD.
Yes, and underline on IG because it was already taken the name.
Oh,
but
right, right. Okay, so on Instagram, Off Loud _ and on everything else, that's Off Loud. So you can
Yes.
check out Lucas's new music, right, and see his upcoming shows in the Philippines. Wow, that's cool.
Thanks.
You know, we're always about promoting local music, and hopefully there'll be a chance for us to promote your music as well, especially for those who want to see you live.
Adapted
Pinoy.
son of Cebu naman ni siya. So you know that idea of an off year, Justin, ba is
Nice.
it's a kind of a unique idea, right? And usually here in the Philippines, We don't have that. Maybe because we don't have the luxury to be able to do that. But also, I think because my kids wanted, my son who just graduated wanted to take an off year. But I told him that murag lisod man na siya kay, it's best. This is just my own personal opinion. I want you to be able to hear it so that it'll bump against yeah. He wants to have an off year, but I told him no because the lessons that you've learned for the past for your practically your entire life, if you have a not a leap year, a gap year, you might forget. You might because a life is a series of developments, and you kind of turn it up a notch every year, maybe every level, and then if you stop, it's like there's a possibility that you might forget all of the lessons that you've learned. So I told him you can have a break, but not a leap year because that's way too long. So my question here, I guess, for you, Lucas, is what's the advantage of having a leap year? Doesn't that aren't you scared that you might forget all the things that you've learned and accumulated in academia for the past practically your entire life? Aren't you scared that there might be a disadvantage of forgetting all the lessons that you learned in school because you took a leap year? And what do you think of that question? Is that even a valid question?
It's
Huh?
it's an interesting question.
Okay.
I never thought about that
Okay.
like this. It was always like I did so like all these years I went to school and I wanted to do something else like for a year, and because of that I never really thought about it. But yeah, of course you forget some things. But I think you would forget them too if you just continue, like you just remember certain things which you learn. So I wouldn't say I'm scared of that, but I think it happens. But what you learn in this year is much bigger and much more value, because in Germany we see like maybe videos of the Philippines and you think, oh, it's like this, but when you come here it's really like
It's really
different.
different to experience that.
Yes,
Okay.
totally.
So your high school program is very much related to PADS advocacy. It has something to do with Paralympics. Does it have something to do with physical therapy?
My high school?
I mean, like before you took the leap year, because I understand when you were given the program or the lists of programs that you were to join, it has to be in relation to what you took up in school.
No, it's totally, that doesn't
Oh.
have anything to do with the school. It's
So
just,
this is just plain volunteer work for you, what you
Yes.
just wanted to do. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's
So
nice.
what happens here is that we submit a volunteer placement definition,
Mm.
and then his organization matches his current skill to
What
the
you might need.
Yeah, what you
Okay.
need here. So technically, we were into sports, so we just needed a mentor, a coach,
You're right.
and into social media if you're good at it. So
Okay.
so his organization matches a volunteer to the volunteer.
To your
placement.
okay. I thought it had something to do with like your school program or something like that. Can you tell us a little bit of about your organization, the one that matched you up to PADS or gave you this opportunity to help out in PADS?
Yes, it's called GIED, Global Initiative for Exchange and Development.
Okay.
It's based here in Cebu, and they're taking volunteers from
All over the world.
Yeah, I think all the world. Like we have from Japan, from France, UK, Germany, mostly Germany, but and yeah, they are looking for places where the volunteers can stay. Some are based in Barili, Alegria. I was like based 2 months in Agao, and in Cebu too. And yeah, you can just like, if there's a partner organization in Germany and you apply for this partner organization in Germany, and then they are working with the organization in the Philippines.
Then they link you up
Yeah,
and have
they
you
link
guys
you up
brought here.
with a host family and work. Yeah, so the host
Okay.
family has like to provide food
Yeah.
and accommodation, and then you got work, and you don't earn anything here, so it's just really voluntarily.
Volunteer work.
Yes,
Okay, that's
so
nice.
so Lucas is a youth volunteer. So technically, he's not a professional volunteer, no? So just
okay.
coming out of high school.
Okay.
So we got hold of him to work on the daily activities of PADS. So we also there's another type of volunteer, which is the scaled volunteer. We're in specific teacher. For example, we got somebody recently lang, before the pandemic.
Okay.
He was an exercise scientist.
Ah.
So from
So in that
Australia.
profession.
Yes,
Okay.
in the profession, to help us come up or formulate
A program.
a comprehensive strength and conditioning program specific to each disability, to each athlete with disability. So moto. So inanang ang mechanism. So
Okay.
so his organization, the German government, provides like daily allowance, no? Daily allowance, host family,
Okay.
so that all he has to do is to
Help out.
volunteer,
Okay.
not think about the expenses.
That's
And then
nice.
I think JAD also offers not only volunteers coming to Cebu, but also they are offering volunteering opportunities for Cebuanos, local volunteers,
Okay.
to volunteer in Germany.
So kita na
Thailand.
pod. So
Yes.
Cebuanos who want to help out in any noble cause
Yes.
in Germany as well.
Yeah, Germany.
Okay.
I think Thailand.
Iceland or
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of volunteering
Okay.
opportunities if they want to just
Yeah.
spend a day, spend their year volunteering.
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah. So it's open. So they just have to visit.
Especially if they don't know which organization they want to help out or where they
Yes.
think that their skills might be fit.
Yes.
So where can our Cebuano listeners and viewers get more info on this? On the global, the global.
Global Initiative for Exchange and Development. Just type in GID, I think.
GID
Yeah,
on
in
Facebook, maybe.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Or they can. We also share their announcements. So you can search also for PADS. So
Okay.
and these are free. Yeah? So
Oh, wow.
there's cost of living allowance, hosting, plane ticket.
Everything is all
Everything.
expenses paid.
Yeah.
Okay. Provided
So-
that you reach, of course, the requirements of a
Yes.
of a volunteer.
Yes.
So for those who might have the luxury of time, or if they're looking for an avenue wherein they can volunteer, sometimes you're just looking for the right cause, or you're looking for the right group. So
Yep.
this is an organization that can help find that for you,
Yes.
link you up, and help
Yeah,
you find where
so-
you can channel that.
Yeah, so we wanted to, harness active citizenship here in Cebu as well. So there are a lot of organizations, not only in PADS, no, but who needs volunteers. Pero the sad thing is, mas daghan ang mga volunteer outside than the local
Oh, no.
volunteers.
So this is a call for
Yeah.
for us to first prioritize local first, and we can show our support by especially joining the event this 20 sa Ateneo de Cebu. 22nd,
Yeah,
right?
22nd. Yeah, February 22 at Ateneo de Cebu.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
It's nice for young people to engage already in development work, no?
Yeah.
Especially mga Gen Z, mga
Oh yeah, for sure.
and young people, no? Even young or retired.
Old, yeah, doesn't matter.
So it's a good avenue for them to activate themselves again through volunteering by sharing their skill, time, and everything. Particularly with non-profit organizations or non-government organizations. Depende sa ilahang advocacy. If they're into the environment, if they want to engage in sports and disability, they can
Then
come
they
to
can help
PADS.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, sir, I'm curious. I'll just ask one more one more question in relation to disability. You mentioned earlier that PATS is also inclusive of those with mental disabilities, and I took up psychology in college, and I've always been interested in special or special needs, and so I'm curious. What are avenues for people who are interested in that, like to help out in psychology, for example, in your organization? So do we have like a special division, a different division for those with mental disabilities? And then for the Paralympics, how do they compete? How do people who are enthusiasts of mental health and special needs, how can they integrate themselves in your organization?
Yep. So before answering it, no.
Magdada ka ng
I'll say
questions.
parang line, no? So,
Yeah.
sabi ko
How do we the line? Draw the line.
so-
I understand there's so many disabilities,
Yes.
and PADS considers all of that, right? So
Yes.
what's the mental disability sector like in PADS?
So when we talk about mental disability, that talks about psychology, naman, no? So mental illness and depression, all those stuff. But next other division, psychosocial or the
Yeah.
intellectual disability.
Yeah.
So these are kids or adults na medyo delayed ba ang
Yes,
ang processing
oo.
ang thought process sa brain
Oo,
nila,
cognitive,
no?
ano nila,
Cognitive side.
oo.
So there are we have different programs for them, no? For persons who are in a way having mental health problems.
Okay.
So what we offer in PASH, ang overarching na muna program is the sports program.
Okay.
So,
So wellness through sports.
wellness to sports.
Okay.
So we have this what we call recreational therapy or
Very important.
Yeah, recreational rehab. No?
Okay.
We say engaging into sports, no, para ma-process nimo ba,
Yeah,
no?
exactly.
One of the yung advisable sports is paddling, kay medyo
Okay.
meditative ang yahang repetitive siya. You
Yes.
don't need skill or everything, but you know it takes out a lot of your energy.
Yes, your tension also.
Your
oo.
tension and you're in the water also.
Mm.
Plus being part of a team or a
Kana
community
too,
na
social-
support ni
Yeah, there's
mo.
the social aspect.
And then we also do sports mentoring.
Okay.
Meaning to say, as coaches or as team captains, they look after, no,
The rest of their team.
The rest of the team.
So they're given that chance to step up also
Yes,
and practice
talk and
that.
share. No?
Mm.
Every Saturday we do spiritual huddle. No, we
That's
partner
nice.
with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. No,
Mm.
it's a 1 hour na activity. You know, just before going to paddling,
Okay.
just to sit down,
Okay.
talk about
Spirituality,
spirituality,
beliefs, faith.
and
oh,
everything. No,
That's nice.
it's not a religious kuwan, ha,
Yeah.
but it's an avenue, it's a channel for them to parang step back ba nga sa kabisi sa week,
Yes, to reflect.
reflect
Right.
and check on themselves.
Yeah.
And the good thing about is that you have a group that's listening to you. No?
Yeah, that's
So
number one too.
So that's number one. And then
Okay.
after that, we ang recreational rehab ang good, it should be structured.
Yeah.
So
Right.
one challenging part of being part of the program is really waking up early. You know? So,
Having to administer that, making sure that
Yes.
everything goes smoothly and on time. I can
yes,
imagine.
so
Okay.
we wake up as early as 4 in the morning.
Oh my.
Just to train, no? So and then end up around 6:30 or 7. It's a structured program. We're in every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. You
Mm.
wake up 6:30 at around that early, and but eventually
You get used to
you
it?
get used to it. Every day, wake up, mata na kay sa'yo.
4 a.m.?
4 a.m.
Oh my goodness.
And you have to think about yourself already, no?
Okay.
You have to take care of yourself. I have to sleep early. I should avoid alcohol,
Right,
smoking,
right.
so I could keep up with
Yes,
training.
exactly.
And then your
So it also
coach,
instills discipline, and
discipline.
as coaches, you have that example to your other volunteers or to the other people a part of the program, right?
Yes.
So we've tackled where people with disabilities, specifically mental disabilities, mental illnesses, can join in PADS. What about for those who have like cognitive disabilities or like developmental issues?
So we have sport programs for them as well.
Okay,
no?
that's great.
So usually school-based siya, no? We work with SPED centers.
Oh,
And
nice.
recently, I think we donated a few equipment for
Wow.
kids with mental disability, intellectual disability. No? So
Okay.
we donated boccia, boccia balls.
Sorry, may I ask what that is? Boccia balls?
So it's a sport,
Okay.
especially developed for kids with severe disability or
Mm.
people with mental or I should say
Intellectual disabilities. Okay.
So it's a color game.
Okay.
There are 3 balls, no? The white ball and then the blue and red. So
Okay.
the scoring is that the team that has that maduol na ang bula sa white ball
Wins.
wins.
Okay, but they throw the ball?
yeah, it's very strategic.
Okay,
also.
okay.
So it's either you have to hit the other color.
Oh, para ikaw ang
maduol
maduol.
ka.
Okay, boccia balls ang
Boccia
tawag ani.
ball. So,
Okay,
and,
that's fun.
Everyone can participate, even
Mm.
katong mga naay spinal cord injury or those who cannot even move from neck down.
Okay,
So-
how does that work for them, for those people with that disability?
So we have tawag na to ng mga launchers ba.
Oh, okay.
So they would signal the launcher, no? whether
The angle. Find the right
Angle,
angle, then when can we go? So again, it's a game of strategy,
Yeah, game of
which is
strategy.
very inclusive. This is what Jiggy mentioned earlier. If you don't have any family member who has a disability, mental or physical, and for those who don't know like where to tap, you will really not know about these kinds of
Yes.
activities for them, right? Kaning boccia balls karon sad ko ka kadungo boccia balls.
Kanahan kog butchi kanang sa kuan sa
Di ko
dimsum break,
mataon.
di ba?
Chinese nga ano.
So similar na siya. So kani siyang event nga hisgot ninyo, open to the public ni siya. So of course, we all know that Ateneo de Cebu is kind of a private institution, right?
Right.
So kung dili ka dili ka alumni, kung dili ka gaskwela sa Ateneo de Cebu, makasudra ka. So unsa may mga sulti, unsa man ang password, unsa may magic word? Na magic word wala.
Boccia balls.
Boccia balls.
So it's the Paralympics, no? Paralympic Games. So this is in partnership with 2K Cares. Yeah, I think majority of the members at 2K Cares is
Taga Ateneo.
Ateneo.
Alumni mga kabatch siguro na mo
Sir
Justin.
Afshim, yeah, Sir
Unsa
Afshim.
makantuigan ni graduate na
SME,
Justin 1970 na? Unsa kantuigan ni graduate?
2018.
2018. So dili din na to okay to 2K.
Yeah,
2K. You know what like Justin said, kung wala kay family member wala kay pariente o wala kay kaila nga na person na disability dili kay ka makarelate to, but
Yes.
I think it's important like you said for the young ones to understand the concept of inclusivity, right? And nagi mga part sa society nga medyo mahibilin good.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So mo na ato ang agakon, atong tabangon,
Yes.
atong itugpo as I mentioned
Yes.
earlier, right? So I think that sort of sensitivity needs to be trained, right? I-train na nimo dili na kinanglan nga kani
Expected of
oh
everyone.
you expect everybody to think of inclusivity right away, although you kind of teach that in school somehow, right?
Yeah.
Pero
It's
pero
kind of what's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
then
yeah,
how
but-
do we actually
yeah,
do
Yeah,
it?
sometimes good. Or most of the time, when we deal with people with disabilities, we only deal with the physical aspect.
Mm.
Na tagaalan siya wheelchair or
Okay na siya.
crutches, goods
Yeah.
na. But not really analyzing ba. For example, if you're a person with disability, bago lang ka, example, student leader ka
Mm-mm.
or breadwinner ka sa family.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, aksidente ka,
Mm.
no? Naputol imong tiil or
Mm.
even
Exactly.
nabali ang imong T4 nga, you
Mm.
cannot move for 6 months kay
Mm.
casted. Wala malimtan na to ang psychological aspect
Mm.
of having a disability,
Mm.
no? Ang body image disturbance,
Mm.
particularly for young people, sometimes naputlan sila sa income, no?
Mm.
How will I be able to support my family now or
Mm.
makaskwela pa ba ko balik, no? Yana. So all these things.
Can I apply for jobs?
Oh. Or for example, I cannot afford to pay for rehab. Kaya mahal kayong rehab, tag 2,000 na per session, di ba? So we offer
Yeah, pangyo lang kung si Von
Oh,
Blaze,
si
si
Von,
Von
yan
akong ang pangyo na to.
So
So I guess you're right. A lot of that is psychological. Na mga mga fully able din mga tao galing tapulan sa gayo nga dili
Oh.
magawas ilang balay, di ba?
So
How much more ka katong mga naay mga disabilities yun. So I have a broad question for both of you, especially for you, JP ba. Unsa may pinaka-common nga misconceptions about persons with disabilities nga people who don't come in contact as much as they would like to with people with disability bang wa sila pariente, wa sila kaila, wa sila bawaan nga na
Yeah.
person. Unsa may common misconceptions about persons with disabilities aside from the ones that you mentioned nga katong it's not just physical, it's also mental. What are the other misconceptions? Go ahead.
say for example, when we deal with the deaf community, usually we use the term deaf mute. But they're not really mute, no? They
Sometimes
they
they're
can
just deaf.
actually speak. Deaf rigid na sila. Meaning they cannot hear. So if you cannot hear from birth, meaning ang imuhang linguistics or
Yeah.
language mo dili sad ma-develop because you cannot
Exactly.
hear any word. So dili ma-develop ang vocal cords. So but literally they can speak.
Yeah.
So the term deaf mute right now murag mahimo na siya, murag offensive na siya sa mga deaf. Kay literally they can talk man. Ang uban not all deaf people can lip read. No, so
Okay.
automatic na siya.
They assume.
Assume na lip read dili. No? So there are two approaches to it. Manual, which is learning sign language, and
Okay.
the other one, lip reading. But in lip reading, speech ra ang iyang address, but conversationally it's really difficult, no? So or for example, for polio survivors.
Mm.
Most of the time when you see a polio survivor, for everyone's information, polio survivor na ni gawas na siya ang polio outbreak mga 1970s, 1980s. And then because of that virus ba. So if naa ka na murag mo na kay muscle dystrophy, no, sa
Yeah.
imuhang lower extremities. Ang uban na would think na it's very contagious. So
Because it was from a disease.
oh,
Or that's a myth.
it's a myth.
That's a myth, yeah. Okay.
Dili gina sila. Disability is not contagious. No, or
Okay.
yung
Oh, that's-
objects of pity ba.
Uh,
Sometimes they would say, no, don't pity us but understand us lang ba, no? So help us when we say we need help, but if we don't say we need help, like for example, just really opening the doors for us, we would appreciate it, pero okay ra gyud, no? Na wala. Or for
Okay.
example, when you talk to somebody on a wheelchair, diba? Usually you stand up. But the most ideal is you have to sit down.
yeah,
You
so that you talk to them
on
on eye level.
eye level.
Right.
No, and or you should not play with their assistive devices because
Oh, that's number
part-
one too.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That's part of it. Or for example, question: how do blind people travel? Okay, kita, no? Or how do they travel from Cebu City to Bantayan Island?
Yeah.
So pinaka-common gid na siya. No? So they would, when we ask them, how do you travel? So we ask questions to the driver. So konsensya nila kung mo nami dala
Mamatak
ko
ang
sa
driver.
Talamban. Sakon ko nila og basak. So yeah, so
Okay.
they ask a lot of questions para they can reach from point A to point B. Yeah, so that's how working with disabilities. Other types especially with blind people, no, it's a fact na ako wala jud ko katultol sa Lapu-Lapu City,
Yeah.
but you
You
know
still get lost.
I still got lost
I
there.
still get
but
lost too.
this guy, si Marvelous, no? Kay every training, ubanon mi. Sweeto kay siya sa mga shortcuts sa
He knows.
Lapo.
He knows.
He
But
knows.
he's blind.
He's blind.
Oh my God.
Kaya siya, asa naman ta?
100% blind?
Oh, sin
So he memorizes probably the names of the streets, ang
Oh,
direction
Exactly.
exactly.
Asa naman ka ba? Ako nana ko diri sa may basak. Sige,
Turn
na
left.
corner dia, turn left.
He knows.
Yeah, when you naog na ko ay nagbalik dito sa imong old ko ana. Shortcut ka diri para ditso na ka sa highway.
Oh.
Sometimes ba
You forget that.
ma-amaze ka ba?
Yeah, their sight is impaired, but not their memory. That's one thing we have to remember.
Dili ni siya
Kuan
born blind.
born blind siya.
But they still have spatial. They still remember
Yes.
directions.
How does he know places kung
niya.
blind siya?
naa siya nagitawag ang mga blind o ganing gitawag na visualization ba.
Ah.
So,
map nila sa ilang mind.
visual mapping. Oh,
But how do you like in the same way that you can't teach a person who can't hear how to speak, murag lisod siya ba? Kanasang kung wa sila nakakita sugad sa ilang pagkabata, how can they visualize something they haven't seen before?
So we
Saan
have
ba?
this kuan. I had this
This is very
experience
interesting,
when I
right?
was in kuan, when I was in Japan.
Okay.
Nasa lagi tawag dito na dialogues in the dark, no? It's a museum dito for blind people na igsud mo dito. Ang guide mo blind person, no? Pitch black gid siya, no? Na area. But he will guide you to like a mini
Obstacles. It's like an
obstacles
obstacle
tours
course.
and everything. So what you can idea of how the place looks like? Kay pitch
Right.
black man. But you get a mind map about what's happening through the voices.
Okay.
Ah,
So patay kung if you're like me that you're not very good with following instructions. Kana
So-
bitang magbalik-balik igingon nila, turn left. Turn left. I said left.
300 meters.
I hate that. I hate that.
Kuan, kanang tawag na other senses ba? Touching,
touching.
and everything. So inana, that's even like for example when you ask this, when you've been asked this question sa mga pageant ba?
Mm.
You ask somebody na a contestant, how do you describe
Color to a blind person, for
color,
example.
to a blind person?
how
So
would
mitubag na.
Exactly.
So ang mga blind would always say that ang color related siya sa emotions.
Exactly. So maybe you could say like red is the feeling when
you're angry.
you're
or-
angry, and blue is like the feeling when you're feeling rested and
Yeah,
so
how do you describe the sky to a blind person? So wala sila na zero idea.
That's
sila,
right.
so
So would you say, is it also a myth to assume that when you have a certain disability, all your other senses are heightened? Is that true? Like I know, okay,
Yeah.
for those who really don't know anything, and for those who are like me, a fan of Marvel films, if you're a fan of like Daredevil and all these other superheroes who have disabilities, like because for example, see Matt Murdock sa Marvel, he's blind, and then all his other senses are heightened. No, I know it might sound like a stupid question, but just to answer, is it a myth or is it true that when you have one disability, all your other senses are heightened?
I think no. I cannot speak for them, no. But
Okay.
in my own experience, I could say yes. You know,
Okay.
like for example, my good friend si Marvelous,
Mm.
he knows na what your every time sakay ko mo drivean ako siya, he would know na this is the
Where
car
to go.
where to go, or this is the car na saan ni ba expander ni Mitsubishi ni? How did you know?
Maybe he
Ano
can
ba?
feel from the vibration, the
sound
the
of
engine, exactly.
na siya. So kuan gid
Grabe,
siya.
no? Okay.
So that's basically it.
So
no?
that just tells you that it's not necessarily like they're lacking something or it's a weakness. In fact, there are so many other aspects of their being are activated. Like they're functioning. It's just that specific part, not necessarily.
Yeah, I think one majority of the misconceptions ani is that when you see somebody like a person with disability na kana ganing ning achieve gani siya og usa ka nasa
Okay.
successful ba, they would always see them as superhero na mitawahan na grabe.
Oh, grabe.
Oh,
Okay.
bro, it's dili dapat unta because
Oh, you
Dili
think
na-
dili dapat?
Oh,
Okay.
kuan lang ta na to
Or isn't that a way of like people are in awe, people are praising?
Oh, yeah.
What happens
Well,
when the eye when
well, inspirational kay siya.
Okay.
No? But
on the other hand,
majority of the portrayal mo na to when they go into sport, superhuman na nigi sila.
so it's actually a backhanded compliment to say
Oh.
na superhuman na sila.
Mura mo gitawag na to na murag inspirational porn ba gitawag no? Na murag condescending na. no?
It's you're glorifying in a negative way ang
ano
ilang
ba?
ano.
So
It's patronizing.
What's masakto di ay?
Mm.
so that for them no ang pinakasakto ra gyud is just
Treat it as a regular
treat them as any
Normalize, ha?
normalize lang yun ng disability no just like any other people no appreciate lang the human diversity ba
That's true.
no while they need some form of assistance no
Yeah.
everybody needs some form of assistance no but reasonable accommodation ra gyud lang gipangayo
Reasonable accommodation.
ano.
When we go too much, sometimes it's offensive.
So man,
like for example
I've never heard of that
Yeah.
term, reasonable accommodation. What does that mean? What does
How do you know when
reasonable accommodation mean?
So like for example, reasonable accommodation. One example, say, our when for example Lucas here, example deaf siya. So one way for him to participate in our conversation is either provide a sign language interpreter for him.
Okay.
You know? Or for example, if in our house or office we don't have an elevator, so it's either we move the training or
Downstairs.
or the activity downstairs at ground floor
Accommodate.
para accommodate wheelchair users, or naay step up ang ato ang flooring, so we don't have to break the flooring but create lang makeshift
Minor
ramp,
adjustment,
minor
okay.
makeshift ramp for a person to participate. Or for example, if we don't have they cannot read what's written here, no, we just have to type it in braille para makasabot sila. So that's reasonable lang. We don't really
Go over the
go
top.
over top yun na usbunin mo tan dili mo ra gid lang muta gi
Because
pangayo.
then I think that would make them feel like it's much of a hassle. I think for those with disabilities, murag instead of them being happy that people are adjusting or trying to help out, it might make them feel shameful siguro, no?
Pinaka kuan gyud
Mauwaw sila
the
ba,
best
maiko?
way is to ask them first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so for example, they might look na naglisod sila, but when you ask them, okay ra, okay
You
ra
need
ka-
help?
You need help? No, okay ra gyud. When they say it's okay,
Then you should
believe
respect that
them na,
also.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Mo insist, mo assert ka.
But that
Oh.
actually requires a lot of understanding, also training, and maybe also that's actually also cultural, di ba?
Yes.
Kay
Oh,
kung na kay makitaan nga kaning murag naglisod og lakaw ba because wa ka kay baon sa history siya iyahang disability bitaw. So you're probably wondering basig naglisod na siya basig kaning tabang niya na kay baon jud kog ubang mga tao, Justin, nga kaning murag pag mainsultuhin nun sila ba nga tabangan
Yes.
sila ba murag I'm fine, right?
I'm fine,
Right?
yes.
So you have to be both sides have to be kaning a little bit more understanding but from the disabled person's perspective, a differently abled person's perspective, Basi ko siya kasabot.
Oh.
So both of you have to be kaning understanding of each other
Yes.
situation, right? Yeah.
Like say for example, those guys with polio, no? Polio survivors.
Just gonna pull you into that. That's something that we should have gotten rid of this the
A
face of the earth,
longer-
right?
Oh yes.
From totally right, but now with all of these vaccine kaning conspiracy theories and all of that stuff, I think
Timbalik na po ang
polio
polio.
might be on an up and up, right? So
Yes.
grabihan sorry abay nga hisugod ang polio in 2025, right?
That's
Anyway,
true.
anyway, continue, sir. Sorry.
So technically medyo tanawan mo maglisos daglakaw, no? Or they
Yeah.
have a different way of mobilizing, no? Mobility nila. But they have their own way of doing it. So either comfortable sila or no. Sometimes when we give them wheelchairs,
They
they
don't-
don't
they
make
don't
use
need
of it. Because
Sometimes it even becomes more of a hassle siguro for them to adjust to mga equipment nga dili nila naandan. Okay.
So, before we had,
instead of helping,
we have some cases na we donated
wheelchair,
prosthetics.
prosthetics, okay.
Or with the plan ba na makalakaw sila balik or balik na sila ko
But then,
wala nila gamit kay naanad naman ko na catches ko. Naana ba? So,
Speaking of culture, Jiggy naghiskot si Jiggy. It's two ways. It's on the it would also depend on the one helping and the one with the disability, no. So I'd like to ask Lucas. Speaking of culture,
yeah.
so we do know there's like this big gap. First world country. You come from Germany, and we here in the Philippines, and then you've been quite exposed to the disabled community here for how many months now? Like almost a year.
I'm staying for a year, but I'm
Okay.
here for 5 months. 5 and a
You've been
half.
here for 5 months already,
Yes.
so like half a year, almost
Yeah,
half a year,
yeah.
right? So what do you notice about like the differences between how people with disabilities are treated in your country versus here? What about let's look at the aspect of like or like accessibility in public spaces, for example. What is it like in Germany versus here?
I'm. It's I was like I recognized it's already really aware, like
Okay.
everywhere it's like in jeepneys, so everywhere it's like PWDs get discount or everywhere.
Okay, so
Um,
there's that provision on that.
So
Okay.
I don't know what I didn't expect it really anything. So but I was like, oh, this is really like already a good.
Similar to Germany.
I think it's because I'm now in this project, so I'm seeing all the stuff. So I'm really because I wasn't really in contact in Germany with PWD so much. I got a nephew who has Down syndrome now, but before that, so you don't really see that stuff. But I would say the difference between Germany and Philippines of awareness of people with disabilities is not that big, like the difference.
Okay.
yeah,
That's nice to hear. I was expecting the opposite. I was thinking like maybe in public spaces. Yeah, I mean maybe that's just my ignorant assumption. No feeling. I had a feeling like maybe there's more systems in place in Germany for that. What about like in public spaces there? What do you notice about their like accommodation for PWDs versus here? Do you think like we're far behind or pretty much at the same level?
Not at all far behind, I would say.
Okay,
we're getting there.
we're getting there. Okay.
It's like, it's really hard to say for me because of my point of view, I'm
It's quite limited for now. Okay.
It's like I just have this because I'm working here now and I'm seeing this. I would say in public spaces, I don't know.
Okay.
I would say it's pretty the same. Like
Okay.
yeah.
Probably at the same
Yeah.
level for
I think
now.
I can say na since we're doing accessibility audits.
Oh, okay. That's a way
So-
for you to really like have data on that.
Yeah.
So what did you notice, sir, based on the data?
So majority of buildings 10 years younger accessible na sila.
10 years younger.
Oh,
Okay.
so-
Majority.
So there's been a movement manggod on independent living,
Ano po?
barrier-free
Environment.
barrier-free environments, no? Integrated na siya sa architecture, no? So especially here in Cebu, no? So strong kayo ang movement.
That's
na-
good.
So all of our malls are accessible. So there are some lang, but technically
Almost all. na
almost
din, no?
all already. IT Park, most of the buildings there
Are
na-apply na
accessible.
sila.
You know what? We talked about katong si Stephen Hawking, si Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, and what's his name? Andre Bocelli, who's blind also. Dahil kay mga blind na singer, right? So and then Justin mentioned nga na ba kuno ma-heighten nga sense because they have a kind of disability, right? So for example, si Stephen Hawking, right? His entire body was paralyzed, right? But his brain was still working, right? So that's why he became really, really smart. Or maybe he was already smart, right? And he just happened to have what do you call that? What was that?
It's like a muscle degenerate.
MS, I don't know.
Sclerosis, like multiple
Yes.
sclerosis or something like that, right? Anyway, my question, I guess, here is that namanggali mga tao nga daghang kay disability so na they can still reach unbelievable heights of
Yes.
achievement, right? That the world recognizes. Ang akong pangutana ni JP is this: unsa ka what are the biggest factors that allow people with disability to still achieve
Yeah.
great big heights? In fact, sometimes mura na sila kaning ang normal ini nga tao na disadvantage ang normal ini nga tao mo na yung disability na noon.
Yeah.
Kay grabe na kay sila ka ang ilang achievement taas na kayo
Taas na
ba
kayo.
despite or in spite of the disability.
Yeah, I think one of the greatest frustrations now, I think I've been in this advocacy half my life, no? 14 ako karon and I think I started it when I was 14, high school pa ko, no? So, I think for me lang, no, if given the chance to mayong na ako'y one ba?
Like one division.
One,
Magic
one,
one.
magic one.
Magic one. Naka-i-wish. Okay.
I think I wish na ma-improve lang yun ang access to education ato.
Access to education. Yeah.
Ba? Like, kanang
Why that
education,
sector? Oh.
Usually kanang education it just requires a normal mental capacity, right? So what do you mean when you say access? Is it financial, the financial aspect of accessibility or physical aspect ng the buildings have to be accessible? What do you mean?
Systemic change yun, sir. So, right now, we have SPED education, no? But SPED education does
Super
not
limited.
alone solve the issue on education sa mga children with disabilities or adult with disabilities. So, say for example, majority of persons with disabilities here in Cebu, high school ra gid sila kutob kay
Nga naman.
there's only one college that's offering
Program.
college education, that's in CTU, no? And the offer they're offering only
You're talking about mental disability, right?
no, that's a overarching gid siya na disability na education, no? So for example, if a deaf
Okay.
person ko or
Okay.
if I have dyslexia, no? So it's hard for me to
Get into a college
enroll
program.
in big universities here. Unlike in other
Because it's hard because
number one, the university or the school is not ready to accept students with disability.
wait. So kung
Daghang factors,
nakapasar siya sa high school, for example, and then nganong di man siya makasunod sa college? Unsa may impediment na?
dagan factors, no?
Okay.
Dagan factors. Number one, the readiness of the school, no, to accommodate students with disabilities. So, for example, ako blind ko or deaf ko, gusto ko mo enroll in
San Carlos.
San Carlos.
Oh.
Is San Carlos ready to provide me sign language interpreter? Or are they ready to provide me braille?
So you need to go to a special school to be able to go to college for that. And then you mentioned there's only one school, CTU ra.
CTU lang, Cebu Technological University.
Asa man ni siya nga eskwelahan na dito sa kuan kan doon sa tunnel,
Oh,
SRP.
diha.
Wow.
But limited ang course, courses nila.
Oh.
Computer, majority technical vocational.
Okay.
And then there's one here in Labangon, what they call AVRC, Area Vocation Rehabilitation Center. They only offer technical vocational courses.
Capital Tech.
So if they want, if a parent or a family wants to send their kid after high school, no, to provide better education, they either have to go to Manila or pay a teaching aid para mo provide og assistance sa ilang anak.
So a lot
Parang
it looks like a lot of the issues that you're talking about are in a nutshell, economic, right?
Yes.
Is it viable for a school to offer this kung pipila lang ka estudyante ang maka-appeal, right? Or maka-beneficio, right? For example, usara ka buok or duha ka buok. So I can imagine nga because it's economic, we're in the third world, right? That's why si Justin medyo na-surprise siya when she asked kaning Lucas nga ang disparities of the way we treat people with disability is not that far apart.
Yes.
Kay although Lucas said nga murag medyo siya knowledge gyud na kay he wasn't really aware of it until until he got into this whole field. So JP, kung economic ni siya, so probably I guess ang gobyerno kinanglan gyud mo subsidize ani
Yes.
nga party, right? I don't want to be cold, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be cold and calculating. But I will just wear that hat for just 1 minute. Pila man ka percentage sa population by sa kalibutan or Pilipinas lang. I don't know which statistics you have a kind of disability.
So if you refer to the PSA,
Yeah.
no? But if you look into the PSA form,
Oh.
wag siya naka-specify dito
Oh.
type of disability.
Oh.
Naka-require dito,
PSA is the Philippine
statistics.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So wag siya gid unsa type of disability.
Okay.
The only dito kan lang kaning do you have disability, family member na disability wala.
Oh.
So
So na disability.
yes.
Oh.
So karon wala pa gid sila kay naa sa total data, no?
Mm.
Or pinaka recent data nila. I think data gigamit karon mga 10 years ago pa.
Mm.
So they said na there is like 10% of the population, Philippine population have disability.
Some kind of
Some
disability.
kind of disability. I was able to access the data from the Mandawi City.
Mm.
And they have they're very comprehensive, no?
Mm.
Type of disability, children, adult. I think they have right now 8,000 members who have disabilities. Nga like disability.
Nga nagpuyo sa Mandawi City nga
Nagpuyo sa Mandawi City, no?
nga naay some form
Some form of
of
disability.
disability.
Yes, adult and children.
Mandawi ra na siya?
Mandawi na. But right now, I think Cebu City nasa sila lahat dito.
Okay.
But these are manually encoded, no? Dili siya wala sa cloud ba, no? I
So
think
dili siya centralized.
decentralization there should be like a centralized data, no? Of how many person with disability in the Philippines para programs and projects from the government or non-government ma-address gay ana. So ingon ana, that's the challenging part, no?
mubalik ta nila ni Stephen Hawking, ni Andre Bocelli og ni Stevie Wonder ba. You mentioned nga the biggest factor really is education, di ba?
Yes.
And education requires resources. It requires finances, right? Kinahanglan ka
Yeah,
na kwarta para maka-eskwela ka.
Finance, it
So
boils down yun,
kaning mga kung naa manggali kay kwarta wa gyapoy eskwelahan nga mo accept
mo
nimo
dawat
kay
nimo.
wala may available nga
They're not
eskwelahan, right?
healthy.
So kung naka sa Pilipinas, are you saying your future as a disabled person or as a person who's differently abled, kaning imong probability of succeeding is less here because wala man tay mga eskwelahan nga mo offer og eskwela mo larga gyud ka somewhere, right, if you can afford it. So I guess my question is unsa may pinaka nindot, what's a shining example of a society, any country in the world that treats their persons with disability the best in the entire world? Ano nimo muhang best yes if you will.
I cannot say for me lang, my own experience. For me, my own experience, I can say sa States gapon.
Okay.
Okay.
US.
I was in the University of Chicago, you know, during the program, and naa sila department dito for students with severe disability. I mean kasi they can't even spoon feed themselves. So gidorm sila. Yeah? So naay mechanisms ang ilang dorm that they can move around on their own with minimal supervision, and they can take bachelor courses, diploma courses, no, and even engage in sports or any other gi-offer ni sa ilang mga students but if you compare it here in Philippines, kung imong anak nga dunay bedridden na, no, murag daan lang gid siya, no? Majority since we're developing, it boils down to the economic capacity ba, you know?
That's really the
No, but when
rule
you
of the
say, but I'm quite optimistic for the Philippines because na naman tay free college education. It's just that we have to put the right people to champion for education in the Philippines for people with disabilities. No, if we put on that, if we appoint the right people to do that job, so it would open a lot of opportunities for students with disability now can access college education. What's happening, Manggod, right now is siguro ang makasabay mga blind, no? Kay they just have to listen man.
Yeah.
But for a deaf person who wants to be an engineer, maglisod siya. Kay what may mo interpret niya, no? Or for example, on a wheelchair, ay di siya kay ang klase na asa 5th floor, wala elevator ang university. Or there, simple ramang yun na. The universities just have to set up a student with disability affairs office. Kung naay sa
That's one way
office,
to do it.
yeah, kani ang role ani na office is just to provide accessibility sa mga students. So for example, kung naay ang teacher na ay audiovisual presentation, just have to write transcribe lang nila,
Also a
no?
transcript,
Or
okay.
all the lessons are transcribed into braille for blind students. And if you're a deaf, si Lucas deaf, when he enrolls here, the university provides
An
an interpreter for him.
Or allows him to bring his own.
His own interpreter. What's happening now, ang mga parents lang magda silang own interpreter para lang maka-finish og college education ang mga bata. But it should be the university's effort on that ba, no? But hopefully with the law right now na itong free college education, hopefully with the government funded universities magsugod unta dito.
Yeah. Especially for those engaged in social work, they can have so many volunteers to help out for
Yes.
that, no?
Even ang pinaka-challenging part gani is even in sign language interpreting, no?
Okay.
There are only I think 100 sign language interpreters.
So we've
all
seen,
over Cebu.
so you firsthand
Philippines.
experienced that and seen that it's possible in different countries, the United States, for example, in University of Chicago, that they can integrate it in school. I think it's maybe just a matter.
It's a
Do you
matter
think
of
we're very
time.
far off from that, sir? Like, do you think?
I think we're getting there. No,
Okay.
there are already initiatives already I've heard and best practices from universities and schools. We just have to we told boys down to economics and the data, no. Ngayon sila, why would we put up a program na wala maging
Yeah, gamay raman mo ano ani. Oh, that's true.
Yan na ba?
Why would we put up a student affairs office for student disability? Oh,
student with disability
affairs office kung gamay raman ang nay disability.
Yes, so it
marag-
has to be piloted good, no? Piloted and initiated good na siya, no? But it has to come from the government.
In case you're wondering who you're listening to, this is JP Moanes of PADS, and of course Lucas here all the way from Germany. They're here actually for the Paralympics 2025, which is happening this Feb 22 at the Ateneo de Cebu grounds. It starts at 6 a.m. It's open to the public if you guys want to watch it, if you want to be a part of it, if you want to see exactly how it goes. It's best that you go there. Sabado na siya ba? Domingo na siya ba?
Sabado, sir.
Sabado, karong Sabado, February 22. They're here actually in the studios of 105.1 TMC. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice.
And my name is Justine Arvia. Top of the morning, everyone.
Maayong bungkag sa kanyang tanan ko. Namoy mga pangutana diha. Namoy mga namoy mga queries, maybe naamoy pariente, naamoy anak, naamoy kaila nga naay disability, and maybe you have some questions for us here. Please feel free to text us. Okay, ang atong text number 0962-746-3537. That's 0962-746-3537. Di ba, Justin, kung mupadong na ka og college ba, na may exam nga i-take, nimo in fact, murag ibahig naman ka asa ka most likely to succeed, di ba? Kanang naka sa humanities, naka sa unsa na uban diya, kanang STEM, di ba? Kanang whatever, right? Unsa nga strand, di ba? So even sa high school pa lang, mura na kag igayra na ka kung asa ka padung you have a better chance at succeeding, right?
Skills are fit.
Yes, so kaning sang people with disabilities, kaning mga differently abled individuals, right? For example, ako, dili man ko ma-recommend nilang paduaon kog NBA, di ba? Di ba? Kay medyo sobra na ko kagwapo ba. So dili namay gwapo ceiling ang NBA, di ba? So ang akong pangutana ni ron is sa persons who are differently abled ba, napo na sila inana ba nga murag kaning dili sa nimo ibutang sa lugar ang usa ka differently abled individual nga he has close to zero chance of succeeding, right? Napoy mo inana pod, di ba?
Yeah, nakagapon.
Unsay tawag na sa is it different from the usual kaning exams that people take in high school para mabutang sila sa science sakto nga strand nila?
I think wala ra the same raman kay they was as nag-iingon pa no. This physical raman ang problema. So their brain is still intact, their intelligence is not really affected unless naa sila multiple disability, no, or slow ang lang
I
process
forgot
sa
that
brain.
also
no?
exists
So
multiple.
so they can take their usual IQ exam or yung proficiency exam na pwede diha, no. It's just that opportunities lang for education ang wala, no. So they cannot afford it, number one. Kaduha, accessibility sa university, and number three is the readiness pod, no, sa university or sa the school to accept a student with disability. And for me, ang pinaka fourth is the person pod, no, 50-50 is no. So naara gyud na nimo at the end of the day, no, kung mo pursue ka or di kay one story that I can share with is the story of Michelle Gabisa, no. She's a profound deaf female na siya, no, and she graduated from education at USP, and she took the licensure exams for teachers 3 times, no, na-fail siya, first and second, kay ayun nagbungan Filipino subject, misto siya sabot og Filipino, but then she decided, since sige na mag-review center, I will do self-review. After taking her third, nakapasar siya, no, and then she applied to DepEd, no, out of 5,000 applicants, top 20 pa siya, no, sa ilahang entrance examination. So I think it all boils down to the person itself. Ikaw mismo ning kamot sa iga, no, while there are opportunities for you to get support, but in the end ikaw pud mismo kung di sa ka magtuon hagbong jud ka, no? Or if you wake up late, well, namay trabaho, but if tardy ka always, di sa ka matangtang sa ka. So that I think 50-50 lang yun.
It's like what Jiggy says, no. We're all given different cards in life. So, namangay mga people who have no disabilities and who have all the resources, Murag na guilty ko, no. I felt, okay, you're right. If there are people with disabilities that try to find their way around it, maningkamot gid sila despite that. And
Yes.
how much more for those nga wala? Like that. This is also somewhat, hopefully, gonna be somewhat like an inspiration for all our listeners also.
So same
Nga.
thing na ang libuhat ba with
Especially katong way mga disability, di ba nga kanigay siya nga disability ni succeed magali. Ako ni noon nga
Yes.
kompleto ang ako ang mga limbs pag humay nani ninong ko, di ba?
Yeah.
Mauwas at zero sila, di ba?
So back to
We take it
paddling
for
ba
granted.
na we among team combination man siya, abled and
Okay.
disabled. So majority ko sa feedback sa mga abled na mga paddlers, kaingos for the first time kaingos la sir kay baka grabe kayo murag turning point kini sa akong kinabuhi ba na
Yeah.
you know, sa paddling tanaw ko kapoy na magkayo tanaw ko sa tupad. Amputee. Continuous
good.
bang sukol magani how much more ako?
How much more ako?
Inana ba?
Yeah.
So it's at the end of the day it's sweat equity, no? So
Okay.
kami sa pads, while we fundraise for the team and for the races, we only ask one thing from our paddlers, that
Which is?
sweat equity ra gyud, no? Investment nila to come to training. So
So it's discipline, really.
discipline na gyud. So kung dili ni siya entitlement ang imong disability na free na ka, pwede na ka mo appeal sa unsa, mo race dito sa Boracay or kay disabled ka, dili, you have to really
You earn
work
your way
hard.
also.
You
Okay.
have to earn that seat. Kay if dili, pulihan kag lain.
Oh.
Pulihan ka na sige training. So inana, so it has to build on culture as well na dapat day. No, they doesn't mean disabled ko. I can
It's
get
handed to
everything.
you.
Oh, it's handed to me.
Yeah,
Kay-
because of pity or
or yung ka dole out system ba dili na siya dili siya sustainable. No?
That's also a nice value
Yeah,
nga i-teach nila, no?
Yeah,
Important
exactly.
sa no?
Yeah, and basig they will probably feel entitled sa, di ba? Na tendency ba nga because society murag cuddles and nurtures and takes care of their disabled people. Pag human sa noon, mura sag there's the opposite of that nga basig masubraan sa noon nga di lang ko matay kay bawa bitaw sila nga na ako disability, di ba? It doesn't work like that. So I guess maybe my next question would be unsa may common misconceptions misunderstandings sa mga people with disability about society and how they're being treated. Unsa may ilang mga pagtuo nga dili
Yeah.
day mao di ay?
I think sa mga experience, majority mo na when they grew up na murag nurtured ka sila ba, no?
Spoiled, mahugog spoiled, di ba?
Spoiled, ilang family.
Oo.
Sa family magud
Oo.
it boils down na di gina ng family na maunsa sila. No, they don't want the family doesn't want them to go out because aksidente pa lang ka dito or bulgalan pa lang ka. No? Even in the provinces, daghan cases ito na they cage, no? I mean, they chain their family member na may disability because
Para
not
di siya
na
maunsa igawa sa
para dili siya mahilabtan, no?
Oo.
But
kasi maunsa pa lang.
at the end of the day, wala siya maanad ba? I think attention is focused on him. Na wala siya yung na dapat pud ko musabot pud ko subang tao di mo kamot pud ko.
Wait, lisod na sa.
Lisod. Oh.
Yeah. There's this theory I think related to that. It's called learned helplessness.
Yes.
And that's very common for people with disabilities kanang because they've been like as you mentioned coddled in an environment wherein it's programmed to them nga they're helpless, they need help. Sometimes it's not anymore it has to do with self-esteem. It's like they really feel like it's to an extreme level that they feel like okay, this is all I can do. So maybe I should just stay here. Maybe I should just stay in my lane.
Understand me, di ba?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
everyone should
Totally.
adjust to me, Anna. So you're trying to avoid that in your
We're
organization.
trying to re-educate, no? Trying to, through sports. No, through
Sports really teaches a lot of kanang
There's a lot,
discipline
no? There's
ana.
a lot of discipline there. There's a lot of life skill. Murag incubate niyo mo siya dito ba? Na that's why we're opening it to able athletes. Para
Mixed also.
Mix
Para ma-expose pod sila both ways.
Yes, dito pa lang daan within the circle sa pads, magkasabot na sila how their inter or intrapersonal skills ma-develop
Yeah.
na within there na, uy, di naman dapat ako, or basta paddling mismo. Well, they see, out of the 20, kung wala sila, kapoy naman kay ko.
Nya makita nimo ang disabled kay
Or sila mismo, wala sila, no, everyone's paddling, ako kapoy kay ko, dapat pahuway ko, dili, dapat mo contribute sa ko, kay para mo,
That's right.
bukan. Yeah, it's common good result based ba. So if you don't contribute to paddling, ang daog biya sa dragon boat nanosecond lang dili ra sila.
Exactly.
So I think that
So everyone's contribution helps. It's not like kanang murag dapat in sync mo tanan.
in sync mo tanan wala MVP. No, everyone has to
bitaw.
contribute. Everyone has to get a share of their own kuan good.
In paddling.
You know what kanang the DEI story in the United States
Yes.
is very controversial now, di ba? DEI of course is for diversity, equality, equity and equality, right? Or something like that, right? Nga everybody has a fair chance no matter your disability, your race and whatnot, right? And lot in life. So ang akong pangutana diri because we're still at I would say at an early stage of trying to uplift the least of us, right? Meaning to say katong mga tao nga na disability disadvantage as a society tabangan nato sila, atong agakon sila, atong itugpo sila, atong i-nurture sila. But I think the United States is a kind of I wouldn't say cautionary tale, but we can learn a lot from what is going on in the United States. Maybe we will not make the same mistake here in the Philippines. So I guess my question here, JP, is unsa ka how can we make sure nga we don't make the same mistakes if and when I'm sure their program is not perfect. Unsa may mga potential pitfalls and the blind spots for us to learn from.
So very complex ni
Absolutely. It's very complex.
You guys.
And we're let's just say let's why na to kut gamay ang surface aning problema ha.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it talks about creating safe environment for everyone, workplace, the government, at home. I think that's mo ginay yung kuan sa DEI, no? So in the Philippines, I think we're naturally, culturally, we're quite nurturing to
Yeah,
our
correct, correct,
to
yeah,
our
yeah.
to our kids, to people with disabilities,
To older
our-
people
to
also.
older
That's why
people.
they love Filipino nurses, right?
Yes, so this mentality is very westernized. No, in the Asian culture, very nurturing kita sa mga family members to everyone. Like everyone is like belonging kayo. No?
families.
Extended families kayo. So I don't think we while there are a lot of yung mga details and politically correct terms there and all those stuff, but individually we're very nurturing kita, inclusive kita, no? We just see things differently, no, in the Asian culture. So muna while we don't have that policy, pero it's good to learn from from experiencing or from what's happening right now in the US to improve how we treat or how we promote diversity in our society.
So do you think that they went too far? Do you think that they went too far? Because nahisgot ka nangutana ako nimo based on your experience in Chicago katong university ngayon ka nga the United States is still a society that treats their persons or differently able individuals the best to your best analysis of the situation. Do you think they went too far?
I think I think they have to continue that conversation. No,
Okay.
they have to continue that conversation about how diversity affects society. While the government now is really very strong in terms of putting a line, a division about it, but it all is up to the people if they will apply it or ilhang just ignore it and continue with what they're doing.
So, Mike, my macro or bigger question here now is, I guess we're circling back into
Yeah.
this same question that I asked earlier. So, if a society treats the least of its constituents, those that have disabilities, those who are at a disadvantage, does that make for a better society? Does that make for a more progressive society? Explain to us, I think we can go to the practical, also go philosophical as well, right? What happens to society if we give everybody a fighting chance?
Yeah, so a healthy society is a progressive society when everyone can participate, regardless of disability, age, or whatever is affecting them. If society has a platform for everyone to contribute to nation building, to progress, then I think it's a better society for everyone. Well, while we experience a lot of division or allow indifference, but these are people also na at the end of the day, limpan to ba? Humanity. You should not forget about humanity and how society works. We have to provide opportunities. No, at the end of the day, the disability sector is only asking opportunity.
chance.
We are not here to beg. We're not here to. All you need is understanding. All you need is for us provide access the support systems we need so that we can function and contribute to the development of our society. And if we only apply that, then we will have a very strong society, inclusive society where everyone believes in our own strengths, while we recognize also the flaws of everyone, our weaknesses. But these weaknesses are not, are not excuses. These are, part of human diversity. So kitang tanan na yung inana.
Nagyoy tay apan, di ba?
Natay
Apan, nagyoy.
Tayapan.
Ako sobrang nakagwapo, di ba? Mo kaapan ako, di ba?
Why Sir James is so loud?
Gabihan mo ba? Gabihan mo ba?
So one example one example.
Nilam kasi Sir James.
Gabihan mo ba?
So one example
Insulto ng komeda.
So one example there's a Dabis, no? 90%.
Dabis is burger place. He actually
Okay.
has a restaurant, a burger place, and he actually employs a lot of disabled individuals. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah,
Tell
so,
everybody.
So,
Yeah.
so we started during the height of the pandemic.
Okay.
Majority of our athletes, sa program mo muna sa Pasgod, is that at the end of sa ilahang training course, we evaluate them or we ask them, do you want to continue schooling or
Yeah.
do you want do you want to help your family? Mo naman sila, sir, gusto ko magtrabaho kay gusto ko matabang kong family or sigog absent because I cannot anymore pay for
Provide, yeah.
transportation sa training, ano ba?
Mm.
So we assist them in employment. But
Okay.
during the pandemic, naputol man to tanan. So majority of
Right.
them were disenfranchised. So we got the opportunity to start the Dubbies, no? Accidentally. So we're able to hire majority of our athletes to work there for the last 3 years, no? And then nag-open sa pandemic. So nibalik na po sila sa ilang own companies na
Okay.
ikuha na nila. So now we still have the athletes na nagstay dito na
Sa
as regular
Dubbies.
sa Dubbies. But it's really amazing because if you can see, everyone is really contributing. So dito in within Dubbies, our chef, our cooks, our staff. So we design the work area according sa ilang capacity as
Anak pod, yeah.
PWDs. So inside
How
the
are they
kitchen,
gonna be able to? Oh,
mga deaf. And then for them to communicate, we develop a lighting system for them. Those polio or mobility challenges, or sa cashier sila, no? Kay lingkod naman sila. Or they take online orders, compute, bayad, ana. But people go there without realizing, dumi dito kay
alam mo yung pagkaon.
kay mga disabled lang mga nag-serve ng
Right.
dili.
They don't
We-
even realize.
We don't even realize it. We go there because lamig kay pagkaon dito. Lamig kay burger.
Where's Dubbies, by the way, sir?
It's in Mandaue. So
Okay.
it's located along Plaridel Street. If you go to the old bridge, so tara dito makita ra nimo Dubbies. So
Okay.
beside the old UV Gulyas na school.
Okay.
So that's the messaging there, no? We do not actually promote na mga PWDs man ari mo diri sa Dubbies kay mga PWDs ni
In
makatabang
fact,
mo. No. Ari mo diri sa Dubbies kung gusto mo makaog lami na burger. Ari mo sa Dubbies.
That's a way also of normalizing it and
Then ma-realize lang sa mga customers dito na paglingkod nila, nag-serve nila there, pagkuha sa order, sign language mo din or ang menu. Ay,
in Braille.
dahil sa mga blind, no,
Okay.
braille lang mga ikuan. So technically that's what social inclusion is really about. No, it's not really highlighting disability or unsay mo gana, but it's really making everyone function in our society while realizing that they need some sort of support, but it's a matter of really being productive in society and being successful in a sense that everyone contributed to. So I'm very proud of the staff and how they took ownership of the business, meaning running it and even being proud of what they're doing, no? So yeah, good.
Yeah, I think part of this call to action, what I like about this interview is daghan kay tang the cover. We're talking about how the government can take hold and somehow contribute to this, the implementation of certain laws, education sector, how different universities, no. But now I'd like to ask in terms of the social media side. So as a Gen Z, I think one of the most important audiences in pushing forward this advocacy, we need to get more young people to join. So how important is it for the Gen Z to be more aware of PWDs, and how can we use social media to that advantage?
Of course, it's important in every age to be aware of
Yeah.
of PWDs, and I think if it starts from a low age, it's already normalizes everything. So and
Yeah.
because youth is using lots of social media, it's really like compared to Germany, like TikTok is huge here.
Oh, and okay.
And I think this should be really used to make young people aware of this and normalize that there are PWDs, and then you can go into detail for example with pets, how it's gonna be practiced, like how
How do they do things in that organization?
yeah.
Okay, so one of the things you're working on for PADS, am I right to assume that it has to do with TikTok? Are you like helping out their TikTok account? Because
yes.
it's what's big here in the Philippines. Is it like all TikTok content?
And TikTok, Facebook,
Okay.
IG, everything. So I
Okay.
try to cover as most because in Europe, for example,
Okay.
nobody is using Facebook, It's really like just IG, Instagram. So I try to, and because the World Championship is in Germany, I try to cover all. But yeah, it's mostly Facebook and TikTok.
Okay, to get the people here in the Philippines to be engaged as well, no?
Yeah, it's a matter of really, amplifying the story.
Kana, that's the word, amplify,
Yeah.
right?
I believe na social media plays a huge role
Exactly.
in amplifying.
Kaya na
and
naman
making-
kita tanan online. Even right now with TMC, no? Not only do we broadcast to the neighboring islands of Cebu through the radio, ang traditional transistor radios,
Yes.
but we do have our live stream now, which is
Yes.
available on Facebook, on YouTube, because we realize with adapting times to technology, dapat mo adapt sa ta.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think technology is dubbed as the great equalizer, right?
Yes.
And I think I can imagine this is actually a boon. This is actually a good thing for the differently abled, right? Because social media, the internet, does not require you to have a complete set of limbs. You know, I
Yep.
mean, like you're actually sort of this whole internet thing is actually almost made for
Yes.
these kinds of individuals, right? Tell me about it. Like, how has the internet, how does the social media change the way we treat and we talk about PWDs? Go ahead.
So I think social media
So-
is now playing a huge role as a platform for a lot of things. Accessibility, information is already out there.
Right.
It's
It's a
easy
platform
to
for everyone.
a
Okay.
platform for everyone. It's easy to access. Research, education. We can find a lot of things there. no?
Yeah.
Technology has played a huge role, particularly for people with disabilities. No, prosthetics, training, education, all those stuff. It's free. If you compare it 10 years ago, groping in the dark, pag yun na, asa naman yun, or we just heard ba na, ito, exulti from my aunt na mo na technology dito. But
Karon,
karon type lang nimo.
just
you
with a
can
click
access,
away,
click
everything
away.
you need to know.
You email that organization. Like for example, a few last year,
Okay.
no, we don't have Blade Runners in right now in the Philippines. No,
Okay.
so through Facebook, through social media, we're able to tap with Cyborg International. So it's a startup. The founder is a graduate from MIT. Yung
Wow.
role is to make running blades, no, accessible for athletes. Nakita mo ganyan dito in the Paralympics, mga developed countries lang mo participate ba sa running ba?
Per kita.
But developing countries wala because it's very expensive. So what he did, he created his own company to cut down the cost of running blades. And now when he found out about the work that we do in PADS through the internet, we communicate,
reached out,
we reach
okay.
out, and we're able to collaborate, and we're able to send or distribute and award running blades that would cost around 350,000 each, no? To support the Blade for All program and then we are now training this 6-year-old kid, no, to be the first Blade Runner sa Philippines na
That sounds
later
cool.
on, no?
Blade
Later on,
Runner.
yeah.
That's cool.
It's actually a movie, The Blade Runner, right?
So that's how it karon na mo global mo kay internet, so it connects us to the different parts of the world.
But also, like when I said internet, aside when I said technology, I meant the internet. But of course, you talked about the physical innovations, right, to assist in people with disabilities. But I'm also talking about the opportunity to be educated in front of your screen of your phone,
Yes.
the opportunity to make a living
Yes.
online, right? So I'm sure this is a great thing for PWDs, right?
Yes, that's true. No, as a matter of fact, there are a lot of BPOs already that are offering work from home opportunities for people with disabilities. So if you're a person with disability, it takes a lot of effort, resources to travel from one place to another, from your home to the building, no, to the office, and you spend a lot. Kay dili mawamtay accessible cars diri. So if you're on a wheelchair, bilisod jud ka, mahal kayo, imong sweldo. Literal mo sa taxi. But working from home
Enables them.
enables them to earn a living yeah, with a good internet lang, na, they can be.
So, kaning mga opportunities ba that the internet has provided for, and all of these things, these programs that you have access to, kaning Blade Runner, the Cyborg program, and all of that stuff, this looks like an infinite resource of leg ups
Yes.
of opportunities for them to better their lives. Asa man ninyo ma-access ba? Is there like a place for them to maybe be a part of? Is there like an office or maybe a website? Is it pads? Is it Dubby? So if I'm a person with disability listening to this broadcast right now, where do I go?
So they can visit us in our Facebook page or Instagram at PADS, no? Philippine Accessible Disability Service, or just PADS. Search lang na sa Facebook. Gawas na nga mo. We're very visible in Facebook because of Lucas. And as much as possible, we've been like posting a lot of stuff, opportunities, no? For people with disabilities, sports, and all the stuff. Any news about disability, we post it there. So, bisita lang sila dito. Or they can just Google, no? Google any information na naroon. Gawas na dito.
Of course, speaking of sports, the Paralympics is happening this Feb 22 already. Why don't you invite them, guys, one last time for everyone, not just people with the disabilities, but everyone, even if you're completely abled, right? Is that a thing? Completely abled?
So, kuha na gina siya. Persons with disabilities and enabled.
Enabled, okay.
Able-bodied. So, mara gina.
Those able-bodied individuals or persons with disabilities, why don't you invite them to visit you guys this Feb 22 and enjoy sports for persons with disabilities? Go ahead.
Yes, so I would like to invite everyone who's listening and watching our live streaming right now to come and join us for the 2K Cares Paralympic Games happening this February 22 at the Ateneo de Cebu Open Gym. The program will start around 6 a.m. until in the evening. So this is open for everyone. There's no entrance fee. And we would like to invite any person with disability, families with disabilities, or if you are or if you're a student or a young professional who just want to take part of this advocacy on inclusive sports, or if you believe in the vision of a Filipino Disability Inclusive Society, then come and join us in Ateneo this coming Saturday. And we'll set up a booth for pads. We'll also be selling some merchandise, and the Asian Orthopedics also is setting up a assessment center, a functional assessment, a rehab service also, and you'll be meeting a lot of teams and learn a lot of sports that involves persons with disabilities.
And I overheard you say the Worlds is in Germany. Like, is this event Paralympics in Ateneo this Feb 22? Is it like a qualifying for an even bigger competition, or kutubra na diya?
This is just a
One-off from the
one-off event that promotes disability sports.
Okay.
But we are hoping that we're going to organize this one at hopefully at least twice or thrice a year, no? With the support of 2kcares.org
Di ba
foundation.
namang yung actual Paralympics,
Yes.
Olympics, right? Paralympics, right? Where and when is this going to be held this year? Do you have any idea?
Right now, I think mga qualifiers pa lang, no?
Okay.
I think the next one will be the ASEAN Para Games, which will be, I think, January, I think in Thailand or Cambodia. And then those who will qualify there will be qualified for the Asian Para Games. So, and then those who will win the Asian Para Games, compete na sila sa Paralympics.
So atong Dragon Boat I'm sure you have been qualified to a lot of these, right?
Yes, atong Dragon Boat is not right now part of the Paralympics.
Okay.
So emerging sport pa man siya. So they needed at least 80 countries to participate. So emerging sport pa siya. But this one is happening in July 14 to 20 at Brandenburg, Germany. No? We'll be competing for the 17th International Dragon Boat Federation World Championships for the Para Dragon division. So we're fundraising right now, and I hope we'll be able to Lucas will be able to help us
Okay.
fundraise.
Okay.
And then we've sent letters to LGUs also, Cebu City, hoping that the local government will be able to support. No, at
So,
least
so if they want to show their support, they can also go to PADS, right?
yes, you can message us or message Pads Dragon Boat team if they are interested to be our brand partner. No, and we would love to work with them, collaborate with them, and make this a reality to majority of people with disabilities. But at the same time, we really wanted to set that record as the strongest para dragon
Yeah.
boat team in the world. So and we already been doing it for the last 3 years, and we want to seal that legacy already. And to those potential sponsors, we want you to be part of that legacy.
Wow, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. JP, Moanes, and of course, Lucas, live here at 105.1 TMC, top of the morning. Daghang salamat for sharing, guys.
Thank you
We've
much.
learned so much today, right?
Super. Thank you so much for coming and
Yes.
sharing your advocacy with us.
Thank you so much also, and I would like to really give credit to the people behind 2kcares.org
Yeah.
for organizing this event for us.
Yeah, unbelievable, man. It's just grabe ka Justin sa like we always talk about. You think you know something,
Until you actually talk about it.
and then you
right?
talk about it, and there's so many things that you don't know about it, right? So Kuya Magic, he's coming up next for the Magic Hour. Stay tuned. Justine?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us once again at top of the morning. We'll be live. Today's Monday, right? See, I've lost track of time now. Like Friday, Saturday. Today's Monday. We'll be back tomorrow.
She has a disability, inability to recognize that it's already a weekday, right? What do you call the disability, Justine?
I don't know, like laziness, I suppose. That's what happens when you sleep in the weekend, no? But jokes aside, thank you so much for joining us today. This is Top of the Morning with your host, Justine Narvias, and of course,
Jiggy Juice, and stay tuned for Kuya Magic. He's coming up next. Don't forget to visit PADS on their social media platforms and on TikTok as well. And Lucas here has actually a few songs that he sent me. We'll play that a little later on once we download the songs. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this as Kuya Magic gets ready for his show, The Magic Hour, on 105.1 TMC.
the best of us.
Lucas, I wanted to give you
Yeah, present for you.
Oh, wow.